the whole crew that put this whole show together tonight. Legendary, everybody. And if you love Mixing Night, you will love our plugins. We're running a big spring sale right now through the weekend. Roc.am. But let's address the elephant in the room up top. Why Atmos? Why? Is it a huge new income stream for everybody? No, probably not. Is it going to replace stereo? No, I mean, certainly no time soon. Is it going to stick around? Is it going to die as a format? I think it's going to stick around because Apple and Dolby are both behind it, and they are building long-term product lines for it. But why does it always sound like crap whenever I hear some of my favorite songs in Atmos? That seems to be the general beef. But believe me, we all understand, in my opinion, Atmos is an audiophile format treated like a general consumer format right now. There's been a massive push by Apple and Dolby to create Atmos versions of your favorite songs, but not enough quality control on that and not enough listener education and mixer education to know what you're hearing and how to mix it. So many of you hear Atmos and you don't like it. Trust me, we get it. We're the ones trying to help make it the great format that we all know it can be. The first time I heard Atmos mix on speakers, I was utterly blown away. I just could not believe it. And I thought, this is how music always should have been heard, from the center as the song envelops you instead of at a distance or just enclosed right here. And so one of the purposes of this show is to dispel Atmos myths, to give you a street-level view of our opinion of what's really going on, and show you actionable steps that you can take to get started in Atmos. It's going to be a super fun night. We're broadcasting binaural tonight, so listen in headphones for the full experience. Speakers are fine. But we also have an audio mover stream pinned to the description of the video you are watching right now. There's also a video telling you how to set up your audio mover stream so that if you have your own Atmos studio and you can stream us live directly to your speakers and hear what we are hearing in this room. It's pretty darn cool. So that's in the description, that link is. Actually, the description is loaded with goodies tonight. And as we go through the show, you'll see those things are all in the description. Before I start my sprint mix, let me introduce to you Atmos mixer Mark Abrams from the Great Big Plugin Show on Puremix, and Techno Dad, who is a consumer Atmos specialist and co-creator of the Spatial Audio Calibration Toolkit for the home theater Atmos calibration. And Techno Dad will provide invaluable insights into the end consumer who we all do this for. And so welcome both of you, Mark and Techno Dad, to Mixing Night. Woo!
What's up? Thank you for having me, man.
Oh, man, it's been a crazy cook-up for all of this. Mark came down, drove a significant way, and you flew out from Cali for this. So
That's right.
We are all Atmos diehards here, and we all have a unified mission, basically, to help everybody else level up. And I think we have all felt generally like there's not a ton of support in Atmos land. We're hoping to change that tonight. So thanks for tuning in.
And speaking of level up, can we put the levels up? I'm hearing we need to bump it up like 12 dB. Can we do that down there, guys?
Fellas in the broadcast booth, turn up the live stream.
Turn up the live stream audio. That's what
thank you for letting us know. We've been prepping like mad, but we never really know. Oh, great! Thank you, Joe.
He's telling me, hey, yo, you got.
So, in my tradition of sprint mixing, I'm going to do a sprint mix of Taj Farrant, "The House Always Wins," and I've put Mark through sprint mixes here before. What was your experience with sprints?
It's the best, and I've actually just kind of made it a practice routine
Nice.
since then.
I got to hook you up with more of them then.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I talk about it on Mixtank on Puremix a lot.
Sweet.
Tell people to try it.
I did one yesterday. He made me do one yesterday. He's like, it's your turn. I was like,
Yeah. Techno Dad doesn't know Pro Tools. He does mix Atmos, so he's very proficient in Atmos, but he doesn't know Pro Tools. So we started him, and we had him do the House Always Wins Atmos. It wasn't really a sprint.
I actually got done with the stereo. So he has a 10-minute timer.
Yeah.
So in 3 minutes, I was done with the stereo. I was like, okay, let's try Atmos. I'm like, I'm not going to make this any better. Here, let's do that. So it was a lot of fun. It was great working in Pro Tools. Finally get to kind of check it out, what you guys are always doing. Yeah.
Well, that was a ton of fun. Hopefully, I will be able to pull this off in a meager 10 minutes. Come on, where's my timer?
Can we do things to distract you?
I suppose you probably could.
Can I unplug your controller?
Guys, am I supposed to be on mix in the control room? On Dadman? All right. What am I doing wrong, fellas?
All the people in the Puremix chat, thanks for joining in. We're simulcasting on Puremix's channels and stuff.
That's right. That's right. What's going on,
yeah.
everybody?
Talk to him.
I see everybody. Joe and Tell's in the chat. We've got Chris Wyndham, Daniel Miller. We got, actually, this is a combined chat, so there's everybody. Karch is in the house. What's up, Queen B?
Queen B.
I haven't seen you in a long time until my, it was a DJ stream of mine. But we got all kinds. Who's Sam Champagne?
That's ours.
Yeah,
that's ours. Hey, Sam.
Champagne.
Mark, can you tell us about the Great Big Plugin Show on Puremix?
Yeah. So the Great Plugin Show, it's a plugin review show on Puremix where we just pull up stuff that's interesting or things that we like and do a plugin review show. So that's always a good time. We had Ken on and did Lolcom pretty recently. That was
So
sweet.
much.
Still.
We're going to do Greenhouse, and our next one is cooking up right now.
Yeah, and the thing that's in the oven.
And we're running a spring sale on Lolcomp and Greenhouse right now at Mixing Night Audio.
Spring sale.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all are getting the sauce. I think I left it on the screen. Y'all are really figuring out what's going on.
These are the hassles of live broadcast. What else can I go to in the meantime? Do we have any questions on the chat roll we can go to? Let's see, Ben Wave. Who do we have?
Hey Shane,
Sorry, guys.
For the Puremix folks, thanks for tuning in. This is a guest live stream.
Let's go to Technodad ADM.
Going
Techno.ADM?
live from
Okay,
Kim
give me
Lewis's
one
studio,
sec.
Which is
We have
amazing.
to-
And this is the Mixing Night audio show that I keep on telling you guys about on live streams. So I keep telling you to tune in, and now we're here and bringing it to Puremix.
So glad you're here.
Are you guys not hearing? No, everybody. Oh.
There we go. My mic is muted.
I think your mic's feeding back. It's pretty hot.
Oh, is it hot?
Yeah, it's
okay.
feeding back into everybody.
Okay, so I'll just mute myself.
Well, I think we can just turn it down and you might be good. Check.
What's up, Joseph Chudkey? Good to see you, dude.
Oh, snap.
We got some heavies on this.
Oh,
tonight.
snap.
Y'all don't know who tunes into Mixing Night. We got some like platinum.
No, take
level
the computer
people,
screen off.
Grammy winners. We're gonna play a Technodad ADM. Technodad mixes Atmos more for fun and personal enjoyment, which we all are jealous as hell. We wish that we could be doing that. When I get hired to do an Atmos mix of a stereo, I'm pretty much married to making the Atmos feel vibe-wise and sonically like the stereo. But you have really dug into just exploring the edges of the format, what you can really do with it, the way that you chop things up and pan sequence it around, and the way that you bring emotion through the way that you move instrumentation and vocals through the Atmos space. It was a really incredible listen here. We're about to fire up a mix for you guys right now, and you'll be able to see Technodad's ADM on screen. So you'll see the absolute madness that it must have taken you forever to do some of these. Tell them about it.
Well, me and my colleague, Mr. Joe Intel, who's in the chat, you know, I call him the mad scientist because he figures out really cool stuff, and then I'm like the artist guy. So like, you know, I'm like, okay, let's try doing this. Let's move this over here. Let's move that over here. You know, people like to, you know, throw something at the wall and think it's, you know, and see what sticks. I throw everything everywhere and it all sticks. Nice. Well, it doesn't all stick, but you know, that's kind of like the effect I want. I want to make something really cool, and I want to make something really trippy. And I think the reason why I'm always doing EDM is because it lends itself to Atmos, right? There's no preconceived notion of where the swoosh is supposed to be, or the bloop bloop, or the ooh is supposed to, you know?
I feel like Roc.am probably creates like this. Roc around 8:45 in about 30 minutes, and Roc really wants to bring creativity from the start into Atmos. And I think from a mixer standpoint, you're doing the exact same thing. You're not really
Yeah.
considering the
Yeah.
stereo at all.
No, not at
You're
all.
immediately into Atmos land, whereas the professionals, we have to deliver the stereo first.
And
Right.
Atmos. And also, if you
deliver to streaming, you need to deliver a stereo mix and an Atmos mix. But
Right.
if your Atmos mix folds down well, then you could just fold it down.
Right.
master.
I don't know if mine will fold down well. In fact, I think that's the one saving grace for me. I don't care because I don't have to deal with it. I'm delivering to people with a speaker array, and with the video they can see they call it the tennis ball view, right? The renderer, and they can see and verify. Okay, these are the sounds, and this is where it's supposed to be, and I'm hearing everything properly.
Do you give these ADMs out on your channel?
Not ADMs. They're usually it's for MP4s for my viewers.
okay, go.
But if you want, I can. I gave you the ADMs that we're gonna play here.
Okay.
So you can put those up if you like for the 2 songs. Yeah.
Sorry, people, we're going to have to restart the main Mac. You won't lose us, but we can't do the Sprint mix, and we've got to. Let's see, what can we do? Can we run Marcus Mander? Let's run Nolan's. Yeah, you can run the Set the Audio Mover stream for anybody out there in Audio Movers land. Should we run that one, or should we run the binaural? Run the binaural that you did, the binaural mic demonstration. So if you have headphones on, listen to this video we're about to run. It's going to show you the experience of tonight. It's going to be really awesome. And it's using the Audio Movers link is in the description of the video you are watching. It's not in there? Oh boy.
We just restarted the computer.
Uh,
We're gonna upload the link.
Did we lose the broadcast?
No, the broadcast.
Oh, we lost the Audio Movers link.
Yeah, the audio movers link.
Okay, gotcha.
This is what's on the broadcast right now.
So
this is the broadcast.
okay, great.
Is it muted in Pro Tools?
Well, then stop. Go back to us. It's all falling apart in our faces. That's live broadcast. It's just the way it goes. But we're working to fix it. Can we do the Atmos Essentials? Well, I can't see it, can I? Shit.
I could tell people about some Atmos videos on Puremix.
Do that. Yeah. Mark Abrams is going to guide you to some great Atmos Puremix.
Sweet. So on Puremix, we definitely jumped on the Atmos train early. A lot of it.
Here, how about this? How about this? Can you hear this?
Should I hold on to this? Do you want 2 microphones? Am I in Atmos? Am I coming from the height speaker? Okay. All right, cool. Tell me if you don't hear me. I just gave him back his mic. So Puremix stuff. So this mic. Gotcha. All right. So I'll hold this thing. Sweet. So I was saying, I'm Mark from Puremix.com, and we make audio tutorials about how to make records with amazing people like Ken, who makes some of the world's greatest sounding records. And we have some stuff. Topic tonight is Atmos. So we have some videos on the site. If you go to Puremix and search Atmos, we have an introduction to Dolby Atmos video with Andrew Sheps, where Andrew talks all about the setup, about his room, and how he did the insane Dante stuff. That same thing like things like Ken's doing here. And we have Andrew mixing a Hosier video in Atmos, and then we have one with Fab DuPont mixing Snarky Puppy's Empire Central, which is really fun. So there's some good content there, and then some old live streams on YouTube. But don't check them out now because we're in the live stream. Save that for later. Ken, when did you start doing all the Atmos stuff? You were super early.
I started Atmos 3 years ago. As soon as I heard Apple was announcing they were launching a spatial audio streaming service, I was all in. 100%. I was like, oh, the biggest creative company in the entire world is partnering with the biggest surround company in the entire world and launching a streaming service. Oh boy, this is going to be something.
I need speakers.
And yeah, and it's not like, again, I think it's really niche. It's going to be niche for a long time. And I don't think that there's a gigantic income stream for almost anybody as a mixer right now. A few people are caking, but most people know. I don't think it's worth investing in the speakers until you have learned the headphones and the software and the deliverables and everything that we're trying to teach you tonight, if we ever get off the ground. Then you can decide whether or not you want to try and make a pro run at this and invest in all of the speakers and the time learning and I mean, I'll be very honest. If I didn't have Jonathan Garcia, I would not be mixing Atmos. This dude handles the tech around here. It's incredible. And he's also a mastering engineer in Atmos. So if you're mixing Atmos only in headphones and you need to make sure that it's ready for prime time before it goes out to the world, then Jonathan Garcia's got your back. He can master your Atmos mix and bring it home. He masters all of my Atmos mixes. So if you've heard any of my Atmos mixes, mastered by Jonathan Garcia. And if we can, he'll be joining us on the round table tonight. And
Get this popping. The man's working hard. The man's working hard on it.
yeah, I don't
Friends at Apple.
I don't know any of the stuff that like I somewhat purposefully I try and stay a little bit tech dumb about Atmos because I really want to stay in the creative space, and you know I know how to make things sound the way that I want them to in Atmos, but for everything else, if you know me and if you watch the show, I don't like to think much while I work. I'm a pretty simple guy.
Oh,
So
I saw it last night. It was awesome just to watch. You are so fast, man. I was just like, damn, what is he doing? And it was the can you talk about it?
Oh no, not yet.
Okay. Oh, what he's working on, they didn't have it here. They didn't have stems back then.
I can tell the process.
Okay.
So I'm mixing a classic album in Atmos right now, and there's no mixed stems for the original mixes. I have the multi-tracks. I don't have any console data. I don't have any recall data. All I have is the original multi-track. So my job is to take the original multi-track and the original master and remix the song from scratch in stereo to exactly match the master as I possibly can in every way. And then I stem it out for Atmos, and then I mix the Atmos version. And I only get paid for mixing the Atmos version. But if you don't do the stereo mix first, it will never sound right in Atmos. And so it's a really long process. For me, it's a labor of love because I get to work on some albums that have heavily influenced me. And it's one of the great joys of my career at this point that I get to touch albums that inspired my early career and bring them into the future. That's super inspiring for me. So, Atmos is for all of us, it's like a passion. If I make money at it or not, I'm still going to be doing it because sonically it's what I've always wanted. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That puts it on. Yeah.
Is it the monkeys?
Is it?
Sorry. I think it's we get it. Yeah.
You got a pinwheel.
Let's play some Techno, Dad. As soon as the puppies stop,
Techno Dad.
we yapping.
All right, I'm gonna give the mic to Techno Dad.
We're gonna restart audio movers. Restart audio movers. Okay.
Restarting
There's
audio.
gonna be. Oh yeah.
Show the other cameras a little bit so they can see the room.
Oh yeah, this room is pretty decked out.
It's a little ridiculous. It's a little bit ridiculous.
Apple Vision Pro who?
Exactly. Yeah, my whole vision for this room
is okay. If you saw,
If anybody tuned into Vocal Mixing Night, which was February, in January or February, I can't remember. I really showed you how I utilize the projectors when I cut vocals to put the artist in their own space. I project lyrics in a box in front of them, and then the rest of them is going to be something like this, which it could be anything that they want. It could be still images or a video around them, and it just is meant to take them out of their head and let them open up and be as free as an artist as they can. And so that was one of my inspirations for the projection, but also while I mix, I do this. I surround myself with whatever I want to be inspired by, whatever the song might mean to me, or whatever the mood of the day is. Sometimes we put a camera outside so it feels like I'm sitting outside and in my backyard while I'm mixing, and I just project my backyard into my screen, and it changes your mood and the way that you work. And you know, the way that you mentally approach your work really makes a big difference, and that was the big inspiration for me for building this room. And it's we're rocking 914. We're wired for 916 and Sony 360, but we haven't installed Sony 360. And we're only 914 because I don't really think you need the 6 speaker. We have them, but why put them up? But I'm all Atoms. So on my 9s around me are all Atom A8Hs. The heights are all A7Vs. And actually I'm rocking a Cali sub for the LFE. Because, most speaker companies don't build a cost-effective sub. And the LFE is so lightly used. Take a seat, Techno Dad. It's you, baby.
Oh, what?
Yeah, you get to tell them... describe your ADM. Well, actually, we probably can't talk. Yeah, we'll have to turn off the microphones while we're playing the ADM. But you guys got to watch this and look at. So you'll see on our screen, we'll be able to move the renderer around, and you'll see in real time. And if you're listening in headphones, you'll hear it binaurally.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna be hearing binaurally. You can
Hit play.
And talk about it.
Yeah.
Or dim the volume and talk about
All right, here we go. This is Cradles. Me and my boy Joe. We formed together spatial group, and here we go.
Is that microphone off? Is your what time?
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see you going through ice caves, hiding pink and French. Cross out the ones who never cries and watch me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
What else do we got? Mark, do you want to play your ADM?
Yeah.
What's happening? What's happening?
Okay. We got my mic.
Central mic enough?
Yeah, we can turn that one up.
Copy that. Yeah, so that was you like it? Like
Oh
it?
my
Man, that was
dude,
sick. Yeah.
so sick.
So we started off just in the center, and then just kind of just to
get
make it
stills out.
just to make it trippy,
Yeah.
you know, and then move the bells. This was me and my buddy Joe. We kind of worked together to get that one done, and it was awesome. He found the song, which is oddly
Where's
enough,
Mark's ADM?
what do you call it? It was royalty free. So
Nice.
that
Yeah,
that
so
also
you can
helps.
blend it. Yeah. Killer.
What's up?
Yeah, what'd you use for most of the panning? Was that drawn in Logic, or were you using the music panner? Or
Yeah, Logic.
yeah,
Logic. Yeah.
sweet.
I think he said there was a lot of automation he had to like copy, you know, so they all kind of just go out together,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love how they spell. That was cool.
Boom.
If you guys can up the volume of the ADM, I hear, that would be good. Maybe.
Yeah, we can up the volume of the ADM.
All
Yeah,
right,
10
let's up
dB
that
if you
volume.
can.
10 dB. Let's
Yeah,
fucking
we're
go.
We're getting instructions here.
All right.
There's a couple people on the Puremix chat that have gotten your DVD already. The
Oh,
Techno
really?
Dad calibration DVD. Maybe you should talk about
Yay.
that really quick.
why don't you
Yeah.
go? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is the spatial audio calibration toolkit, made by myself and oh, the mic. Yep. So this is the spatial audio calibration toolkit made by myself and my buddy Mr. Joe and Tell. It's been out for about a year and a half now, and we developed over to make this. We developed over 200 Dolby Atmos tracks, 160 of which made the Blu-ray disc, and this is 13 sections of Dolby Atmos tracks to help you dial in your home theater. You can use a calibrated mic, dB meter, and do like level matching, a timing test, because time alignment is huge in a large speaker array, and this will help you calibrate from a 5.1.2 to a 9.1.6 Atmos configuration. And yeah, I think this is awesome. The torture test section is the section everybody hates, because no matter how good you think your system is, you're gonna play this and you'll be like, damn it, Techno Dad, I think I got a hole right there. And I got a hole right there, and I think I need to buy some more speakers. So sorry if you have to buy more speakers, but check this out, spatialcd.com, and we're going to talk about it a little later. We actually just came out with a new product for studios, and Ken,
QC Pro?
the QC Pro.
We heard that earlier. That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's a good tool.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, a little teaser for you guys,
yeah.
but we'll definitely check that out.
All right, so Mark, why don't you take the hot seat?
All right. Set them up. What are they hearing?
Hi. Okay, so this is a track last summer or the summer before that I mixed for an artist named Spencer Sutherland. He's out in Los Angeles, and he teamed up with the one and only Megan Trainor and did this single, which is crazy and awesome, and I was lucky enough to be asked to do the Atmos mix for it. The stereo mix was done by Rob Kanelski, who has done Billie Eilish, her work, and one of my favorite mixes is a song called Muddy Waters from LP. That was also Rob. So when I knew he was mixing the stereo, I was even more excited because I love his work. So this is Chicken Little from Spencer Sutherland and Megan Trainor. Here we go.
I've been doing my time. Like being broke is a crime. But at least I do what I like. And someday it's gonna make me money. I got love in my life. And someday I'ma make her my wife. She doesn't like it when I get high, but it makes all the devastation funny. Don't take life too serious because we all die. You won't make it out alive even if you try. So live a little, chick a little, roll up, smoke up, chill a little. Don't take life too serious because we all die.
Yeah, I just wanna have fun. Yeah. And if you don't like it, you could get lost. Yes, you can, babe. And I know I'm running my mouth. But someday it's gonna make me money. Ooh.
Don't take life too serious because we all die. You won't make it out alive even if you try. So live a little, chick a little, roll up, smoke up, chill a little. Don't take life too serious because we all die. One day when I am old, I'll have my money, I'll have my soul.
When they ask if I'm ready to go,
How about them to know? Don't take life too serious because we all die. You won't make it out alive even if you try. So live a little, chick a little, roll up, smoke up, chill a little. Don't take life too serious because we all die.
we all die.
That's hot. Spencer Sutherland. Pretty cool.
Right.
Thanks.
I love the diagonals and stuff. That was good.
Yeah, the motion was really great on that, but really the feel of the song in the room is just spectacular. You just feel like you're in it. I wanted to spill to Atmos Essentials. We put together an entire, I'm not sure if it's up on the description yet. If it's not, it's going to be any moment. So we put together an Atmos Icebreakers, and it's like a one sheet of basically everything that you need to know about getting started in Atmos, what the format is. Let me find it so I can pull it up and chat about it. I'm not finding anything tonight. Let's see. If I could find it, I could talk about it.
The icebreaker thing that you did?
Yeah, where is the Atmos Icebreakers? So basically, like, the Icebreakers are things like Atmos has got to be in 48K. You're married to certain rules. Can one of you guys text me the Atmos Icebreakers? Thank you.
I think what's interesting is, that's one of the bad parts about Logic per se, is that, you know, some of my projects were 44.1, and I went to a music studio and tried to just put my project in their Logic, and they're like, oh, well, we got to change it from 44.1 to 48. And when you do that in Logic, everybody sounds like a chipmunk.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work so sweet in
No,
Logic.
it doesn't. It doesn't. So that's a very big thing. So if you're working in a lot of projects that are 44.1 and need to go to a studio, you need to do that 48K, do that at home, you know, so you're not wasting precious time and money in the studio messing around with that. But I think in Pro Tools it's a lot easier. Or like it doesn't happen as much, or does it?
It doesn't happen as much, no.
Okay.
But that just happened to me on a project in Logic, like just the other day. You'd think they'd solve it in 2024, but we're not there yet. And the problem with that is if you're mixing in Logic and you've never heard these stems before and that's all that you're importing, you don't know that the song you're about to mix was sped up. That's what you're hearing. And all of a sudden you deliver a sped up mix to your client and they're like, are you smoking crack right now? Here we go. So the Atmos Icebreakers, they're up on your description. I'm just going to go through a few of them because I think these are the essentials. And once you hear a few of them, you're going to go get it. How many speakers do I need? None. You don't need any. You can... Yep. So how many speakers do I need? None. You don't need any speakers. You need a pair of headphones, and you don't even need the Apple Spatial headphones. Just a regular pair of headphones is going to give you binaural, just like you should be listening tonight. and you can learn the Atmos format and mix in Atmos completely wearing headphones only. And then as you decide, okay, I want to level up, then it's time to get speakers. If you think you can make money with it, or you have clients that are demanding it after you have learned it, then go get your speakers. Is Dolby only for movies and film? No. Dolby is, so Atmos and spatial audio, Apple spatial audio, are basically the same thing. Apple puts their own tiny little spin on it, but it's basically repurposed Atmos. Apple is currently the only music streaming service that streams in full 714 to speakers. Netflix will as well. Everybody else is binaural. Let's see. So what DAW do you need? There's a bunch of different DAWs. Anyway, I'm looking through this whole list. There's a glossary of terms: Dolby Atmos, binaural, Dolby renderer, re-render, ADM, object, bed, metadata, Apple spatial audio, LFE, pad to frame boundary. Oh yeah, there's some stuff you really need to know in here. And we've got we've got current popular speaker configurations. So this is going to tell you what all the numbers mean, how they change each time. So go get this. It's in the description of the video you are watching right now. We're going to do the roundtable in about 5 minutes. We got a question from the chat roll from Anthony Morano. Hey, Anthony Morano, talking about immersive mixers. When mixing in Atmos, do you find that you are using less EQ or processing each element differently? Great question, Anthony. By the way, Anthony Morano, I think he started as an immersive live mixer for Cirque du Soleil, and he's toured with like Willow and Kraftwerk and some heavies, and doing surround sound for live. It's incredible. He's a groundbreaker. Okay, so Anthony says, when mixing Atmos, do you find that you're using less EQ or process each element differently? Yes, because when I move to Atmos from stereo, I'm leaving all plugins on my stereo mix bus engaged. I'm making sure all that noise shit is turned off. But all plugins on, and I just export each stem one at a time through the whole mix bus. I know the compression can slightly change the levels a little bit, but you know that's what the Atmos mix is for. And you got to compare them and make sure that they do the same things. But keeping all plugins on imparts vibe from the stereo mix into the Atmos mix. If you try to do the stereo mix from scratch, and then you try and do an Atmos mix from scratch, unless you're Techno Dad, it's gonna be a real challenge to get the energy and the feel that you captured in the stereo to match in the Atmos. It's not impossible. It's just giving yourself a lot of headaches. So there's a lot of these gems in the Atmos one sheet. If you're a teacher and you got students, man, give this out to your students. It is going to dispel so many things that you just don't understand yet. And we got another question coming in.
There's a question here.
Hit us.
What's the general minimum cost of entry, assuming you already have a basic recording mixing, to move up to Atmos?
Virtually free. All you need is the software, right, Mark? Mm-hmm. You just need the software and a pair of headphones. And I think the renderer comes with Pro Tools now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So you need a DAW and a renderer, which mostly are
And headphones, right?
yeah, and you're in. So there's a very low cost of entry to start working in Atmos. I would say only the real pros that are making money at it need to invest in the speakers. And like we said earlier, if you're mixing only in headphones and need mastering, then call us and we'll master it for you.
We're getting reports that it's. Can we have the guys just check to make sure that StreamYard on theirs? I can't check theirs is in stereo because we're seeing a lot of comments saying it sounds like it's mono.
Ooh, we should be in binaural.
Yeah, like
It should be.
binaural sounds like mono is what.
Well, I think the talking should. What about the ADMs? Were the ADMs in mono?
Yeah, they're saying it sounded like mono.
Yikes.
The Atmos is changing every day, and the latest change is mono.
Just to change Atmos mono.
It's the culmination of all immersive into one tiny little ball. It's like a black hole of immersive.
Black hole of confusion. It's what it is.
I'm playing the ADM, and you guys tell me.
I've been doing my time.
Saying yes to everything ADM and everything is mono.
Control room, they're telling us the ADM is
The
mono.
audio mover link I had was not in mono. So it's just
Just the binaural?
Just the binaural, yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can check that.
Figure that out.
I'll take another question from Mikola Konovalov. Woo. Hey, Ken, would it be possible to get a download link to previously bought compression course? Maybe. Yes. Don't ask me during the show. Hey, Tom, how do you get around turning up too much? Hey, Tom asks, hey, Ken, how do you get around turning up too much of the rear information and objects when working binaurally? Well, I don't know because I have a speaker array. So I make sure that my speakers tell me what's going on. I would say, how do you make sure you don't turn it up too loud in the back?
I think you can kind of watch somewhat of the meters, but they're not the most informative meters either. I think if you're going in binaural, you're going to feel it enough if it's back there. And then most importantly probably would be if you have a friend with a room or you have a room in town, book an hour, go listen on speakers, and then make your tweaks. That was pretty much what talked me into getting speakers, actually, because I started on headphones like what you're saying, and brought my ADMs into another room, listened to it, thought maybe it was just that room, went to another room, and boom, it was apparent that I needed to get speakers, because of that reason. So.
Well, I also find balancing your rear LR. So in headphones, your side LR and your front LR should translate exactly the same in your headphones. So when you are spreading things out, you can envision your sides as your music mix bus. This is the Mike Miller method. Mike Miller puts most of his music on the sides, puts most of his drums in the front, and kind of picks things to surround you with, and puts the vocals in the wides. And he's a brilliant mixer, and his mixes are incredible. So he's definitely doing something right. So I think the back LR is, to my perception in the headphones, it's another mix bus, but it's a little darker than the side and the front LR. So maybe that helps. It's just going to feel a little bit behind you, which is going to be a little bit darker because your ears don't pick up the same.
Yeah, we're not designed to hear behind us,
Exactly.
or above us for that matter. So
Well, not as clearly, I mean.
no, definitely not.
Let's see. Is it time for Roc.am? Let's bring up Roc.am. Where is Roc.am?
Do you want to?
We just have to log into that Zoom call. We have Mr. Moneygold coming in to
All right, we're going to get Roc.am up here for a binaural roundtable in a few minutes.
Do you want to? Do you want to quickly check the ADM to make sure it's in stereo?
Sure.
All right. So here we
Go. Load up our new product, Studio QC Pro ADM, and we will see right away.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah,
Where?
Techno Dad's ADMs. And then, did they not?
I think it's.
Oh, it's in the mixing night one. 4.3, bottom. There it is, Studio QC Pro. This is the brand new product. Go to Studio QC Pro. All right, let us know.
So Studio QC Pro, if you can still hear me, it tells you.
Center. Front right.
If you're not, I'm sorry about that.
It should be the same stream, yeah.
Yeah, it should be the same stream. So yeah, this Studio QC Pro, we've been running this at our place now. It's a pretty cool. It's just like a speaker checker. It's going to tell you if you haven't been in your room for a week or so, or if things might have gotten bumped around, if all of your speakers sound and are translating the way that they were supposed to. What do we got to do to bring Roc on?
Okay. And Studio QC Pro, just like Spatial Toolkit, was made by me and Joe and Tell, and he's like, look, that's all it took to see and double check, and that's it. That's why we created the product. 5 minutes, one ADM file, and you just listen. And if something's wrong with the speaker, something weird is happening over there, go figure it out. And then because if you're like Roc, you got Rihanna coming to the studio, you haven't been in the studio for 2 weeks. Boom, 5 minutes, check it, Done.
Go
to StudioQCPro.com
and
check it out.
You know
What?
If
If we're doing giveaway, can we give 5 of those away tonight?
We're not giving anything away tonight.
We're not giving anything away
No,
tonight?
that's on top of all the broadcast prep we did.
Okay. All right. Well, hey,
Give them away on yours. Give them away
okay.
on your own
I don't know how to do a giveaway.
No, we were going to do some giveaways, but trust me, the prep for tonight's show was intense.
All right.
And
Dad Lab is way too loud.
Oh.
Bypass and go with Ken's mic. Okay,
King Phantom asks, hey Ken, what is the most important thing to know about Atmos when using it? I think as a hired mixer that the Atmos needs to hit you the same way that the stereo does, feel and emotionally wise. I'm not talking about, it needs to sound like the stereo mix. I'm saying when you put on those headphones and you switch between the Atmos mix and the stereo, it needs to sound like the same song to you. It needs to sound like that HD hi-fi version of exactly the same song. And that's a little bit limiting as a pro mixer, but that's usually unless the artist wants something different, in which case give the artist exactly what they want and have fun. Jersey Boy Beats asks, hey Ken, any specific speaker recommendations and size? Well, I endorse Atom Audio, and I'm Atom 916 in both of my Atmos rooms here, so I love them. But let's see, what do you use in your room?
I have Focal Shape 65s for all of the surrounds and the heights. And then my left and right, however, are Key 3s, and I was spoiled by those, and I didn't want to give them up. So I have a mismatch thing going on.
I've done that. It works. You don't have to have everything matched. You
Yeah.
really don't.
Yeah, and then I just have a turn-off balancing it all out. So a Demon 16 that's kind of helping with that too. So I don't feel it when I go across speakers, which is awesome.
Nice.
But yeah, lucky too, because I didn't want to replace those.
He's got a fucking trin off. My God, this dude throws down. If anybody has priced out a trin off, I mean, amazing tech, but the smaller companies are getting better and better. We're giving away an IK Multimedia Arc Studio hardware speaker correction box tonight. I'm running Arc Studio on both my Dutch and Dutch 8Cs and my LR mains of my Atoms, and it really dialed in both sets of speakers super well. I was very impressed. And I know they're probably working on an Atmos version of the same thing. So they're giving the Trinoff people a budget run for their money.
I got a +1 that the first time I heard that thing. I was like,
The
you
Arc
sure?
Studio?
Yeah. I was like,
know.
really?
Yeah, we
like,
put it up against, the other brand of correction.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, it beat that. So,
Yeah. It's really good.
We still, for Atmos, we use SonarWorks to calibrate our Atmos right now. And then we enter the values into our Dadman software, and then it is married into the software and baked in, and then we don't have to worry about it. But I think the initial analysis for Atmos is done with SonarWorks, which has been a godsend. The first iteration of the studio here, which was Blanket Fort, only survived thanks to SonarWorks.
I heard about this.
It was
no joke though.
Oh man, we threw down in Blanket Fort. I mixed some hits in Blanket Fort. That was a throwdown studio. Then we built Studio B, and we moved everything into Studio B Atmos while we were building A, and then we built this monstrosity of a cool immersive spot. How are we looking?
We gotta send Rock a new Zoom link.
Okay.
So
Keep
I'm gonna let my guys into the fray here. Jump in and do it. Go.
and then just email the link to the back channel. Email account.
Nice.
Can I do Q&A with Techno Dad?
Yeah, you absolutely can.
Is your mic still going? You have your loud thing?
It's too loud.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Well, I don't know how we'll do this, but you should tell us how you got into this.
How I got
Into the whole Atmos thing.
well, I started as a consumer, and basically I started with a 5.1.2 setup in my living room.
Nice.
And I started with the YouTube channel in 2016. I started covering Atmos in 2017, and just trying to hear something cool. And there was a couple of cool things, and then I upgraded to 5.1.4, even more cool things. And then I was like, I wonder if I can set up 714 somewhere. And in the studio where I shoot my YouTube videos, I was able to do it on really small speakers that I put on mic stands so I can just move it around when I'm, get it out of the way and stuff. Right. And I dropped a bunch of money on a 16-channel interface, and you know, I had the monthly Pro Tools, and then that slowly, I didn't do anything with it. I didn't do anything with it. And then my boy, Mr. Joe Intel, was like, hey, can you put some pink noise in the height channels? I'm like, I can do that in my sleep. Yeah. So I started doing that, and I sent him the files, and he was doing remote calibrations for these home theaters. And he's like, dude, this saved me like 2-3 hours. Let's put something together. And that's when we came up with this guy. Nice. And then I started finding, I've been producing music since 2005. Right, my stuff, other stuff. I put out an EP in 2016. I got some. The crowning achievement. I got. For those of you in Australia or New Zealand, there's a TV show called Home and Away, which supposedly is like The Young and the Restless here.
He knows it. Oh no, he's got rock.
Oh, he's got rock.
He's like, Home and Away.
So I got original music on that TV show, and I only found out because I got a royalty check. Because I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
So been mixing for a long time, and Atmos is just awesome. Yeah. I produce and I DJ EDM, so I started doing that stuff, which, you know, lends itself to Atmos. So that's kind of.
It's awesome.
That's it.
Yeah, nice.
That's it. Rock's in the house.
Yo,
Rock.
going up.
This guy.
Man.
How you doing?
Good to see you guys.
Are we all set up for binaural?
Are either of you joining the round table?
We can join the round table. Are we about to just use the mic?
Jonathan, why don't you join the round table, and Nolan, you stay in the control room.
Nolan, actually, open up that. We gotta open up this Amiibo Ambio session that he has been luckily enough to bless us with.
1 second.
Johan says, just ordered the ARC 2 days ago. Good job, man. Good job, Johan. For $300, the ARC Studio with the mic included. It's a pretty sweet deal for simple calibration. But we need custom target imports from REW. 6 points isn't enough.
All right, guys. The mic is live, Noel.
Yo.
All right. So we are. We can pan
I
now.
wouldn't snap too close to that. That's probably loud as fuck.
Is that loud? My bad. I'm a dick. Sorry. Do we need to change this to?
Loud is good, man. I like loud.
Loud's good. Isn't that what you said about the LFE?
I don't like LFE. No.
Oh wait, this is supposed to go to 4.
Oh, Techno Dad remembers the numbers.
2, 3, 4, and 5. That's it.
So welcome, Roc.am. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and thank you for joining the broadcast. It is such an honor.
Of course, man. I mean, number one, such a pleasure to be on here with such a legendary mixing engineer, Ken Lewis. You know, we met, you know, AES, this past AES, and like I just bonded with this dude so much because College Dropout was kind of, for me, that was one of my breakout kind of like projects that listening to it, it was a good life experience. At the time I was a kid, but you know, my mom didn't allow me to like get involved with hip hop because of the politics, and she heard College Dropout on like a road trip, and she was like, this is an amazing album, and I was like, it is? I'm like, this is hip hop. So that kind of transitioned into just me loving just, you know, that style of music and Kanye and the production and everything that was done around that time, and learning about Ken's role in that. That was just like, I was like, man, I have to be like your lifelong friend now. That album literally changed my life, man. So, you know, I'm sorry? Yeah, well, yeah, it's pretty it's pretty obvious. But yeah, man, I'm Roc.am. I am a audio engineer, artist, producer, you know, creative. I just love doing cool ass shit. Professionally, I'm really, you know, doing a really good kind of like creative run in the immersive space. From mixing anywhere from like your catalog stuff from Universal, from like Frank Sinatra, James Brown, Mary J. Blige, you know, all of those legendary Motown artists, all the way to your new artists like Rihanna, Ice Spice, and many, many more. Her, you name it. And yeah, you know, I kind of fell into this space by mistake. Wasn't intentional, like most things are. You know, I got a call about, you know, Atmos in like 2020, and it's during the pandemic. And you know, this person called me up and he's like, you know any engineers that know anything about Atmos? And I'm like, No, but let me go check this stuff out. My engineer hat came on and I did a rabbit hole down in the Atmos, and I'm like, yo, this seems like a revolution of music. So I was intrigued just by the concept, and I just dove into it, and I never got out the hole. So here I am. That's like a quick story, just the gist of it. But yeah. I think we all.
pandemic about it. And then because I was talking about it with him so much on camera, it was basically a thing of like, I need to go do some Atmos mixes so I know what I'm talking about on these live streams and everything. Right?
It might help.
So started doing that, and then that eventually, like we were saying, just doing more and more of it led to I need to build a room. So yeah.
Nice. And how did you discover Atmos, Techno Dad?
Started off with the Gravity Diamond Lux Blu-ray edition. I paid $80 for that fucking Blu-ray, right?
So this is all consumer.
Love it.
Yeah, and that was the best expression of Atmos because they're in space, so they're like spinning around, and then like the mission control is here on the right surround, then top right, then top left, then on my side again, and then.
So was that like really the first time you heard home theater like the movies?
Yeah, and anything, and so I went through like in my first in 2017, I did all these Blu-ray reviews on their Atmos, and just to find, so I would like rent or buy like whatever I could, and like garbage ass movies like Jupiter Ascending, garbage movie, fantastic Atmos,
Yeah.
right, and it's one of those things where it's just like, I wanted that immersive experience, and I noticed like space movies. Yes. Some movies like Sicario, great film, all dialogue.
Really?
Right? Like, why is it in Atmos? Like, I'm not really, it didn't make sense. And like, So kind of that's how I found it. And then, yeah.
So Jonathan, you came to work with me in 2021?
Yeah.
And one of the reasons you wanted to work with me because I was very interested in Atmos, and so were you. So I'll give Jonathan a little setup. Jonathan's been with me about 3 years. He is the Atmos mastering engineer here. So anything that I mix in Atmos, I deliver mastered in Atmos by Jonathan before my client hears it, which is a super luxury. And, a lot of people, probably a lot of people watching ask yourselves like, well, how can I get opportunities? How can I make my way in the music business? And what Jonathan Garcia did was he saw a niche for Atmos mastering that he was like, hey, Ken doesn't know how to do that. I could really become a pro, and then I could do Ken's work and everybody else's work. And Jonathan immersed himself, no pun intended, into Atmos and really learned all of this shit from the ground up and became an expert. And now you just got your first gold record for mastering Rema. Yeah. And congratulations.
Thank
whoop,
you.
whoop.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I'm a big preacher of you got to make your own way in this world, and that's exactly what he's done. He found a niche, and he dove into it and filled it. Tell us more.
Man, it's been wonderful 3 years. I got into Dolby Atmos because, at the end of college, 2021 is kind of like when it got announced, and I'm like, wow, this is gonna be the biggest thing to hit everyone. And I went to all my old people, my mentors at the time, and all these people I looked up to that were in the field, and they just told me I'm pretty stupid. They're like, yo, this isn't gonna work out, man. You're really gonna waste a lot of your money and time. And I'm just like,
crazy like a fox with a gold record now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I'm glad I didn't listen to them because I'm just like, you guys are crazy. This is from mono to stereo, it's happening right now, especially
it's a big jump
with
yeah.
Streaming. especially like for music, 12 channels over like
It's the
airwave.
first streaming format in history.
For multi-channel.
It's the first time listeners can actually experience streaming the way we can hear it in our control rooms, which is great.
Especially like the integration with how spatial audio is like even pushing that border, and just like building upon that. It's just gonna keep going, and the Apple Vision Pros.
Roc, you have a super unique kind of insider, high-level perspective of what Atmos is and where it's going. Do you have any insights into where the format is headed? Is it gonna be more adopted? You tell us. What are your thoughts?
I mean, there's a lot of rumors out there, as we all know. I think just if anyone in the audio space, specifically people who've been there for the transitional period of like mono going into stereo, they kind of see now that Atmos is something that's sticking, right? And we see it through marketing, we see it through the money that's being put in. And the first few years were pretty, it was risky, right? It was initially a corporate push, and the corporate push was so that it can get to the creative space, right? So you kind of have to throw things in people's faces by force to get people to kind of like say, okay, let me accept this. So that corporate push kind of gave labels a shot at it, which labels have the biggest catalogs in the world. And then, that kind of stemmed out to, okay, let's make some incentive plans. Let's get the artists involved. So for me, when I saw that there was a gray area between consumers, end users, and artists really understanding what Atmos was, I thought to myself, okay, there's like an educational like curve here, but let's not make it educational. Let's make it creative, right? So I started to look at a lot of the creative aspects of Atmos because I'm thinking of just the future. You know what I mean? And if you really think about it, a new format and a new way to listen equals a new way to create. And that gives artists a new way to kind of like give their music a new sound and to give it a new experience. And I think that's what was really intriguing for me. Atmos has opened the most doors for me ever in life. And I've been in music professionally for a little bit of time now, in and out of the label system. I mean, as a kid, I interned over at Republic Records, you know what I'm saying? Young. And, it opened doors because, right now, music and technology is like in parallel. So like, and we've never been in parallel. Like it's always been a war with music and, now that we have AI, which AI we've always had, let's get this right. ChatGPT just made a commercial, but everything is kind of aligning into this new futuristic like paradigm. And we have all of these new products that are coming out. Like the Apple Vision Pro is just like a test. Like people don't even know that's like a beta version. They're only testing to see what's going to happen and how the market responds to it. But when all of these products come out, we're going to be able to apply them as pro audio people and as consumers and have a new way to enjoy and consume music. And I think that's what's important. I think we've been in stereo for how long, Ken? What, 50, 60 years, I think is 100. I mean,
I've been alive, so a long time.
You know what I'm saying? So right now it's just like we need that transition. We need that new paradigm. We need a new way to open up the door. And most importantly, we need new people. You know what I'm saying? This brought more people in, and we have different perspectives. One thing about me is like when I'm in the studio, I really love having like different people from either musical or non-musical backgrounds to give perspective, because that's like that raw kind of like, all right, this is the consumer brain, this is that type of brain, we can't do it all alone. And collectively with Atmos, it's just like we're in a world where there's no rules. And what's cool about it too is like we're kind of day-to-day figuring things out, just like the Atmos mastering thing. Like that wasn't a thing. And you notice that, right? So now it's like I'm actually, because I do my own mastering, but I'm like, I wonder, it would be probably cool to have like somebody designated for this, and it could probably bring a lot more out in mixes,
This guy.
But like, look how new this is, and now it's gonna get out there that you're mastering, and you're gonna be busy as hell.
That's the goal.
I think kind of like to what you were saying, since this is also new for the consumer, and the creator, like this would probably be the time to actually try to get some sort of standardization as far as at least the translation, right? We were talking about it yesterday, right?
Yes.
If we were to take the calibration method here in the studio, not the diagrams, because the Dolby diagrams contradict each other.
Yeah.
Right. On Monday it's this way. On Monday afternoon it's go that way. Right. So it's very confusing. So if we were to use the same calibration method in the studio and then in the home theater space, and that way, we can have like what Dr. Floyd Toole calls the circle of confusion. We would like tighten that up a little bit.
Yeah.
So home theaters would translate much closer to stereo,
Right. To your
Right.
We're not talking about headphones, right? That's
Right.
another headache
That's
altogether.
another conversation.
Yeah, exactly. We're noticing with my colleague's app, in the home theater space, they have a curve in the AVR that will tune your system. So they call it the Harman target curve, and it was Dr. Floyd Toole. He went, and this is a long time ago in Harman. He had the JBL M2 speaker. He measured that speaker in a bunch of different rooms. So this curve is the average of those frequency responses in those rooms. Well, unless you have a JBL M2 speaker, it doesn't mean anything.
There's another curve in this
so
land that
exactly.
everybody ignores as well.
Exactly. So hey, hold that thought. So with my colleague's app, we are now able to create a custom target curve specifically for that room, taking into consideration the distance between the front stage and the main listening position. In your guys' case, that's a mixed position.
Yeah.
And the capability of the speakers, right?
Right.
Taking all those things into account, it creates a custom target curve. So imagine now if the same thing in the studio space, Dolby has a curve, right? That's absolute doo-doo, isn't it?
Yes.
Right?
Nobody.
Well, let's not say that. Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm saying that.
Thank you.
My opinions are my own. Okay. No, anybody at Dolby watching, it's not bad.
Wait, hold on. Just really quick. I'm not even trying to correct you. My perspective on the curves, I think the curves are designed to beat. I mean, we're supposed to beat the curve. I mean, that's the point, I think. I think anything that's produced in any of those programs, we're technically supposed to beat. And that's our thing. As engineers, we're always striving for that. So
That's a good way to view it.
Yeah. So if we were to now get a custom target curve for this room, and I got a custom target curve in my home theater, now at the main listening positions of both separate spaces, we're actually going to hear a similar experience. We're going to have a similar experience. So if we can get that kind of thing happening and tighten up, because there's so many variables.
The other thing that is a huge advantage for the end listener right now is the Audio Movers spatial audio stream.
Hey,
So
that's what we're doing right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do they know?
This is
spatial.
So you as a mixer can broadcast a stream to your phone, pick it up in headphones, and listen binaurally, or you can you broadcast your ADM to your speakers via
Yeah,
like
no, you
streaming?
can
And
play
then-
this right back. Like the new Audio Movers app is really tight. And for those of the watchers that are still on the YouTube regular, shouts to all the people that are in their studios hearing us in their studios.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Have you done that before, guys? Girls?
No,
I
never.
think-
Never.
I think
Making
the
history.
This is
The Audio Movers thing, right? That's crucial. When Audio Movers was always cool to me. I mean, they always had the best tech when it came to those, streaming sessions. But when they did it in 714, that instantly was just like, oh shit. Now we're getting closer to everyone, right?
Right.
Now we can do master classes. Now we can, there's tons of opportunity in that. So again, these things are gonna start piling up as far as opportunity, and people just, whoever's interested, get on board. It's the best time right now. Just like technology in general, AI, all of that stuff. Best time right now. The next 2 years, if you're not in now,
Fact.
So people are listening in their 714 rooms right now to this microphone that's in surround, right?
Correct.
So if you were to swing something around, you
Oh,
could see
man,
how many people would get
Hey,
here.
let me move over
Try
here
it
and
out,
keep talking.
walk
What's
around.
going on? What's going on? Do like a round
on?
robin. Hi.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Yeah.
It's time for Ken to do his ASMR stream.
It's ASMR stream.
Now I'm above you,
It has height,
and
like, it's
now
got
I'm
two-
below
two
you.
heights and, like, below.
Also, it'll do height as well.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
should be. I don't know how it does it, but
I don't know if the Marcus video played earlier, or was that the video that was explaining this, Mike?
No, there was no audio coming out of that video. Apparently, the video asset.
Oh, Nolan had a video that we don't know where the audio went, but he did a whole binaural thing. We'll probably post it on the YouTube channel.
It says even the room verb is round. He said somebody else said that tickles. Ha ha ha! ASMR stream.
So,
Yeah.
Rock, how did you get around
Ambisonics.
knowing the streaming translation before audio movers? Was
What with DSPs with like Apple Music and stuff like that, or
like, yeah, just well, I guess who cares before? Now we have audio movers. What is your process for referencing your mixes when you're finished up?
okay. So that was the Wild Wild West at one point, as you may know. So early on, I got activated with this really early, and before, just like we were trying to figure things out, we were really figuring things out, right? And you had, Dolby Atmos has its encoding, which is what we use in the studio. That's the renderer that we use, right? And we mix it down. So like when we're mixing, I've learned to mix in the room first. I've had the opportunity the luxury of being able to mix in one of the best rooms in the world, So that was to my advantage. But the next thing was, you can mix it in the room and get it sounding the way you think it should sound. But then when you get into headphones or you listen to it binaurally, that can be a complete disaster. And that all could stem from your binaural settings. That could stem from placement. A lot of things change binaurally, even tonality wise. Like there's so much that goes into it. So we, where I was doing it at Republic Studios. Republic had just opened this new studio, and they took over Red Bull Studios in Manhattan, right in the Soho area. And they had this beautiful PMC room. I mean, this is the first room I actually listened to Atmos in. It's complete luck. I'm so fortunate for that. And that's the room I learned to mix in. And we would have to mix in the room, then mix in headphones, balance out the headphone mix and the mix in the room to make sure they both translate properly, and learn how to do that. Like I used to love putting things in the sides and like in the wides, but like if you put too much in the sides and the wides, you blast it in the headphones. Even with the LFE, using the LFE, you may think like, oh, this sounds great in the room. Then you get into headphones, it's a big explosion in your head. So, so learning to balance all of those things out. And then, then you got to think about DSP. So DSP is like your Apple Music, your Tidal, and Amazon. Specifically with Apple Music has Dolby Atmos, but they have what they call spatial audio, which is their own encoding, which is cool because it's good for their products, right? Like AirPod Pros, where they have the head tracking stuff, and now with Apple Vision Pro, blah blah blah. So now you got to go into listening to what it would sound like in their DSP and in Tidal. And I'll never forget, man. I was talking to Christine from Dolby, and I was telling her about the adventure of mixing one record and how many steps you have to go through for quality control. And she told me one thing, and she was just like, don't mix for anything. Don't mix for Apple, don't mix for Tidal, don't mix for Dolby. Just mix the record and get it sounding the way you want. Don't chase anything. Once I learned that concept of not chasing anything, then I started to really kind of pivot and really start to kind of like develop my own way of kind of like knowing what was what. And at that point, I was barely checking much. I would check my headphones, I would check it in a room, and I'll be good. I wouldn't have to check the DSPs because I knew what the translation would be. And then as time progressed, their algorithms changed. So, you had Apple they raised their volumes because we were complaining about the volume thing. And it just got better and better. And it's going to continuously get better as long as we continue to keep mixing, you know what I'm saying, and pumping out more records. It's all, trial and error. So, yeah.
I think we could probably do an entire show on just calibrating and setting up your room. But one of the most crucially important things is time aligning your speakers and really just spending a ton of time in your space listening to it. What we did was we picked each stereo pair and we put the same piece of music out the stereo pairs, and we made sure that each stereo pair was balanced to my ears perfectly. If you move it a half a millisecond, you can hear the image shift. So we were in the room and playing the same stereo in pairs out of each pair of speakers, and then making sure that that translated at the same volume and and impact to the headphones. So you'll do yourself a great favor in translation between speakers and headphones if you just spend a lot of time early on setting up your room correctly and calibrating and listening between the two. And the QC Pro will help you with that. And
this kit, what you just talked about, is a section on this disc, speaker pairs. Right, and this is very important. Exactly what you were saying.
Nice.
And we took it one step further. Not only is it each pair, but we also do the adjacent speakers. So front left, you'll do it with center, and then front height left, and then surround left. Or if you
that's tough.
Right, right, and then you got to like balance all those and get the time alignment right for all of those. Then you move to surround left, which is going to be mid height left, front wide left, surround back left, and that. And once you get all of that, then that was actually one of our viewers told me to do this, and I spent like 5 days going through all these combinations. And this is the section that people love the most, right?
Yeah, that sounds like that would help a lot.
Yeah, no.
But setting up your room, crucially important. And we were using like laser pointers and laser measuring tools to make sure that the distance between this speaker and that speaker to mix position
Little
was.
Labs,
Little Labs IBP, is that what it is?
Little Labs, yeah.
Little Labs makes a plugin that does very minute timing and phase correction, and you can put that on your stereo pairs and listen in your room and put the Little Labs in, and you can adjust by tenths of milliseconds and phase and figure out what the best timing is, and then enter that into Dadman or whatever your baked in software is. Am I explaining that correctly? Yes. I do understand something.
You got it. You got some stuff. Yeah.
So, that's sick. Hey, listen, I'm setting up my room in maybe about 2 months. I might call you to come by. So that world tuning, and I'm not in that world at all. I don't understand it, and I really don't try to because
Garcia Nolan Monogold specialty around here. So, and Nolan down in the control room, he's actually.
What up, Nolan?
Shout outs to Nolan. Nolan has really dove in headfirst and embraced Atmos recording, and he's set up he has his own studio with a big live room and a church. It's freaking awesome, and he's set up an Atmos microphone array to capture bands and instrumentation.
He was telling me about that. Yeah,
oh, it's so freaking cool. So like all of us are just really kind of picking our passion of a direction here and going with it and carving our own ways. That's pretty cool. So shout outs to Nolan. Whoop whoop.
Yeah.
I'm actually working on a project too like that where I'm recording at a church. This church has like a 360, 19,000 pipe organ array. Oh, it's crazy. And then, shout out to Shep's microphones. They ended up giving us some microphones. And I'm like, how the hell do I supposed to do this? And I got some good information from Dolby. My theory on it was like, hey, if I'm doing this for Atmos, I want to kind of like set the microphones up the way I think the speakers are going to be set up, like for a 916. And I was actually right. And, Dolby has a lot of good documentation on just like the best practices for recording, you know what I'm saying, for Atmos. So, I mean, Atmos has just opened the door on so many different opportunities, and there's also some other things that's happening with that in the tech space that's really like big, but just being able to just think that way now. And I think that like, that's what's important. We got to keep pushing that needle forward, like what creatively are we going to continue to do to make this like, impactful. So, yeah.
Me and Jonathan got to hear, we both went to a Mike Miller Atmos thing at Sweetwater for 2 days, and it was
Shouts to Mike.
Shout outs to Mike Miller. He's a brilliant mixer. But what's that? I forget why I was telling about Mike. What was I saying?
Recording.
Oh yeah, Mike Miller and the Hazel Rigs do Atmos recording, and it is breathtaking. We couldn't even believe the playback on it, and it was just like unmixed raw playback from the recording capture, and we were in the control room. It's magic. So
when you record, when you record for Atmos, it's a whole different level. It's like I've heard some recordings. My guy Justin Gray, I don't know if you guys know Justin.
Oh yeah, Justin Gray.
Yo, that dude is a wizard, man. Shout out to Justin Gray. He's doing some spectacular things in the creative space of Atmos. He showed me some stuff during NAM, and it was just like mind blowing. Like I was just in awe, you know. So
Yeah, he's. We met him at the AES 2 years ago, or I did. Brilliant immersive mixer, mastering engineer.
He did the Snoop Dogg record.
Mhm.
Doggy
I
Style.
mean, bro, his story is like the story that I always tell him, like, man, you need to tell this story on as much as you can. Because people don't understand when you're doing catalog how like the you know, just how much detail and how you have to be so freaking just like careful what you're doing. I mean, like, and you know, for me, it's crazy because I wasn't alive for a lot of this stuff. Like, I wasn't even, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm like, yo, how, like, who am I to fucking mix this shit? You know what I'm saying? But what's crazy is it opens the door to you get to see what they were doing at those times. You do your due diligence. It forces you to educate yourself on how records were done. And I think that just musically just it makes you more powerful. You know what I mean? And to Justin, like, you know, he didn't have like a hi-hat or I think it was a snare or something like that. And he went and like literally found a similar snare, EQ'd it, compressed it, and triggered it to be part of that record. Like it was just nuts. And the snare was completely from somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So the post production, it's just wild. It's wild.
Atmos catalog, people don't realize how insane it is. I'm mixing a catalog album right now. There are no mixed stems. Yeah, these guys have been here. And it was done by a super famous mixer who's one of the best in the world. And I've got to match his stereo mixes from scratch. With no automation or recall data or anything, just by ear. And then make it as identical from start to finish. And this is a super dynamic album. So every section I need to check and dissect and make sure just on the stereo. Then the stereo's locked in, stem it out, move to Atmos. The process, the records you've done, incredible.
Ken, have you ever played when you get the multi-tracks? You ever play them like in Pro Tools?
Dude, it is the best music education. I mean, those players and the
recordings are incredible too,
bro. Yeah. It's like it's one of my favorite things about being both a mixer and a producer is because as a mixer, I get songs from all over the world from great producers, and I get to dissect their productions, and I get to see what's happening, and then I get to incorporate those ideas into my own toolkits. And that's how everybody really learns, but that's how I've leveled up my production.
I was in the kitchen talking to your wife, and you came in, and you're like, "Whoa! I just learned some shit." You know, like that's awesome.
It's always a learning process.
We're always gonna keep learning, man. I think like this game, like the audio engineer production, like that game, you get better like the older you get because the more information you retain, it's like you just become unstoppable. That's why like got guys like George Massenburg and like all of these OGs, like they don't stop because they just get smarter. And I think their ears even get better because it's like training. You literally train your ears for life.
You really
talking
do.
6 years of training. No one can tell these guys anything. You know what I'm saying?
And, that's really the hard thing. Like
I can hear the way you breathe, boy.
Like they can hear you. They can hear your digestive system.
Bloodstream sounds too loud.
Well, that's the hard thing starting out is like you don't know what you don't know starting out, and you're second guessing every move that you make. And guys like me and Roc and Mark are just we pull up the faders and the song tells us what to do because we've done so many other songs and so much other work. And it's like muscle memory and athletic training for your brain and your ears and your instincts. And you just, over time, get more comfortable and better at it. And if you've seen me sprint mix, that's just instinct. It's all instinct.
It's so true, man. When I first really got into the professional space, like audio-wise, I was like very, I had like the imposter syndrome / like it felt like I wasn't good enough because I didn't learn the way everyone else did. Like I wasn't fortunate enough to go to like a school, like a Berkeley, or I didn't have none of that technical background. I literally just was in the studios, or I would watch YouTube videos and literally learn how to mix from that. Like Young Guru taught me how to mix on the SSL, like literally. And I met him for the first time and I told him that. I'm like, yo, bro, you literally taught me how to mix. Like literally, you taught me how to use a compressor. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, I don't speak that same language where it's like, oh, 20 hertz. And like, for me, it's literally all feel. Like, I literally just dial in. And when the music speaks to me, and that's how I retain the music as well. And I thought everyone thought that, like, everyone else was like very technical. But then I started hanging out with guys like Michael Brower and Ken. I know you're the same, where it's like, they're like, nah, man, this is all feel. Like, we turn the knobs and we feel it. And then we get technical. And that's just production from a production creative background. It's like, yo, dog, we're not trying to dive deep into that right now. Like, we want to get the vibe, we want to get velocity, we want to feel it. Like, when you add that aspect, that's when music is beautiful. And then Atmos, I mean, come on, man. Atmos is all about harmonics, it's all about feel, it's all about this right here, like that third eye, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we need to capture and continuously keep growing on.
Yeah.
I'm like drinking espresso, so I'm chatty right now.
Hey, dude. That's great. You know what I would love to see is a little bit more risk taking in the Atmos mixes, because you know what I say, Rock, bring on the circus, right? I want it to be
that's going to start, like Rock said, with the artist.
Yeah,
it's got to be the artist discovers the format, envisions what they can do and create with it, and how they can touch their listeners. And how they can elicit emotions through this space. And there's going to be artists that create solely for Atmos. And, you know.
That's one of the exciting things about, especially with Logic. I feel like Logic is I think, in my opinion, the easiest one to just open up and go with.
Probably.
That's correct.
And I think it's amazing that for artists.
Was it like $200?
Yeah,
$200, right?
And it's like, I mean, it's literally 2 switches, I think, that you throw the plug-in on the master fader and switch.
Oh, no, you don't even have to throw it. You just go to mix, and you click Dolby Atmos, and then you do the drop-down for Atmos.
So that's like...
And you can listen and mix on your AirPods on Bluetooth.
Yeah. So now artists have it right in their, in their toolkit, in the software that most of them are in. So they're in Logic. Right. It's the easiest one to get going with it. So how long before enough people are just like, oh, what's this button? Oh, let me move that over. Oh, what would happen if I composed a different harmony to go over here? And now they start getting inspired by the space rather than us trying to stuff stereo into this format and blow it out.
Right.
That's what I'm excited for.
I think, from that Mix Immersive event, I noticed a lot of the pro mixers are trying to, create like a soundscape where for me, it's like, I want to make sure every speaker is spoken for, right? And I got this the K5 remix stems, because I'm not pro like you guys. I gotta see my
this is a cool
stem
way to
dealer,
learn. Right.
A stems dealer. I got a vocal. Over here, I got some stems for you, but so the vocal came stereo dry, with another one was delay of the vocal, and another one was a reverb. So I did the stereo dry in the front left and right. I did the delay in the surround left and right, and the reverb in the surround back. So the vocal goes through the room, and you really get that on a speaker system. You really get that sensation. And like, my viewers love that one too, because I like packed a lot in the LFE. So but yeah, so it all depends, Yeah.
By the way, for anybody tuning in, this binaural roundtable, we're using a Sennheiser Ambio microphone, which has 4 capsules on it, so it's pointing in all different directions, and it's capturing 360 of the room.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if you have headphones on, you can localize each of us as we talk.
So my colleague told us to spin it around 180 because because of the view. It's like Chana's on the left, but we hear him on the right, so we did that. So.
Yeah, there is a front to this mic too, apparently. Right. How many times have we seen the picture of an artist singing into the back of a microphone? And
Yeah.
It doesn't sound good.
I have one question though. I've been like saying this for some time when we was doing the tech stuff, but this whole thing with this like digital plaque is just blowing my mind right now. Like,
Dude, this is so great.
Like who created that?
Shout outs to my wife Lori Lewis. If you don't know my resume, people, I have 114 gold records so far. I'm probably going to get another 10 or so this year. And the plaques get really, really expensive. And I'm tired of paying through the nose for plaques. And I needed to get like 60 or 70 of them. So my wife is designing these amazing digital versions for my, and we just project them onto TVs in the back. And
can I buy one? I just ordered. By the way, I got plaques for like the stuff that I did, immersive mixing. Like I got plaques. I got from Jewel. Shout out to Jewel Box.
Shout out to Jewel Box.
You got over 100 billion streams, bro? You kidding me?
Yeah. That's
I mean, yeah.
That's not even all the stuff.
That's just Spotify.
A lot of people were like, "Who the hell is this guy with 100 billion streams?" Right? But you got to understand the business and the education. Catalog is 80% of the industry. 80%. So we're talking like anything. Catalog is technically anything 18 months or older. But like all of those records from James Brown, Frank Sinatra, like they're still getting big sync placements, sync opportunities. Like they're making the money and they're the core of the music industry. In fact, like that money goes, I mean, I'm not even gonna say that. Anyway, so again, being able to crack open those files and as a producer, it's just like you're salivating over like what you see. And you just get to explore like different generations of like music. And man, it all accumulates. Like I look at the streams day to day, and like people are still streaming, like Frank Sinatra's, Wicked. I got the world on a string, or the greatest hits, or James Brown, like Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. Like they're streaming this stuff crazy, crazy. So when it comes to 100 billion streams, yeah, it's pretty fucking accurate. You could look. That's just what it is.
Hey, no, I'm just saying, fuck yeah, man.
We need to create an alliance, right? We need to get all of the big dogs, like get everybody in a room, and we need to start this petition where we can make some money off of those streams.
I
just want a penny.
I will show up for anything.
That penny.
I just want a penny.
Yeah, can you imagine? That would be nice.
Imagine, man, that's crazy. But yeah.
The process of mixing catalog is so insane.
I saw what you were doing yesterday, and immediately, and just like I told you, Rock, the other day, you guys really need to get paid more. Like for real. Like this is a lot of work, and then for the short amount of time, because you got to get it in. I'm not going to say when, but like, it's crazy the amount of work you're doing.
Yeah, the paychecks don't match the work right now, for me anyway. But at least in catalog work, because it is so time intensive and so ear intensive. But
that's like forever.
And I believe I'm setting myself up for the future. Like the work that I do now is going to ensure that I get catalog work for the rest of my career as long as I want it, hopefully. And it's going to train me on best practices on how to do catalog work, which is it really helps to have been an engineer for over 30 years. Right. Because like I just mixed the Donna Summer stuff, and I mixed all the Donna Summer singles, and there were no mixed stems, and the multi-track was not arranged. It was a 20-minute, each song was like 20 minutes performance, and the producer would chop sections of the performance out and mix to two track. So I had to go through a 20-minute multi-track and find the pieces that matched the original master, and then mix those to the original master, and then assemble them into a Pro Tools session, correct for drift, if anybody knows what analog tape drift is. Because your Atmos master has to be perfectly aligned to your stereo master.
Let's not even get into that.
Oh, I know, it's like
James Brown.
But Rock is right. Like the 3% of the music industry is new music. 3%. And what did you say? 80% is catalog. So I'm gonna go where the money is.
Yeah, man. So I'm just going where, like, when you discovered mastering and Atmos was a thing, I'm following history and not just following what the niches could be, but like vinyl. I got into vinyl cutting. I cut 2 vinyl records recently. Schoolboy Q and Akon. Yeah, I got a studio that I do it in New York and Brooklyn. He has the Neumann lathe. I learned the entire thing, and that's an art. I mean, I give it up to just the guys that's been doing it and that are teaching me. But like the vinyl is at an all-time high, and no one even. I think 60 or 70% of people that buy vinyl don't even open it.
Did you just collect? Like,
Dude,
It's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Vinyl and no
player.
Well, like,
Yeah.
what is it? Best Buy got rid of all their Blu-rays and DVDs, but they're selling vinyl. So there you go. There you go.
And this year, I think every year it goes.
Uh-oh. We're losing Rock. We're getting choppy.
So
It froze
that's
again.
another thing too. Get into the space, like, the stats. You know what I'm saying? You learn about all of the business, all the stats. Oh my, hello, I'm here.
Yeah, you're back. You're back. You're back.
But yeah, I was just saying, you get so involved in just like statistics and just the business and what's going on. It helps you elevate and kind of know the next door to open. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it's like all about like AI and technology and tech and like what are we doing in those spaces? It's a little scary, but it's like I kind of look at it like what are we doing to increase like human connection with AI? Like how can we increase creativity? How can we use it as a tool? Like money is a tool. So AI is the same concept. It's like getting to that end game closer, you know?
Yeah, I agree. We've been using AI creatively here. And
Dude, ChatGPT, we used it like 3-4 times to do the stream.
No, I've created music with AI.
Really?
And,
Which one? Have you seen Synth GTP?
What were we using?
GPT? What were you
Yo, we just sound Nolan.
Sona. Yeah, we've done some work in Sona that's been kind of interesting. And
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know the rights.
it's a brave new world.
It's a lot of cool shit out there. There's this company I'm working with called Toonie AI, and they have like this thing where you throw in like a record. It could be a one wave file, and it literally recreates that record for you and changes the genre. It changes everything, like, and it makes it totally a different song. And it's fucking cool. It's Toonie AI. Check it out. It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's
But-
on the to-do list.
Yeah, man. Because we're in a space of like remixes too. Like remixes is about like a big thing, a bit bigger than what it's ever been. So everybody's exploring this space in the AI place because of the demand. You know what I'm saying? If that can get pumped out, like,
Speaking of remixes, I feel like Techno Dad might be perfect for the remix space because you don't really worry about the stereo, and the remix, I think you could probably have a lot more freedom of expression.
Well, at that panel you were on, Rock, Eric Schilling? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Because he said that with Atmos, if it's the Atmos mix of the song, it's got to stay true to the, stereo and true to the artist. He's like, but if it's a remix, then it's all, all bets are off. Techno Dad is a go. Maybe I could, do like a Techno Dad Atmos remix for all the EDM artists. Because I mean,
find your niche.
Oh well, actually, yesterday that song that we did, you had me do the sprint mix.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I put the keyboards up top. I did the background vocals in the surround back. It actually was pretty nice, man. You heard it? Yeah, you were here. Yeah, that was actually kind of cool.
Killing the sprint mix.
Yeah, I did pretty good. Mama would have been proud.
Yeah. That's cool, man. That's fun stuff. I know artists that are into Atmos that have done things like mainstream artists too. They're like, yo, put my vocals anywhere but in the front. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like cool ass shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's shift things a little bit and make people think a little bit more. I think having your vocals not in the front, it tricks your brain. Like it literally tricks your mind. And now you're like having this whole different like euphoric perspective of this song, and these vocals are dominant in the rear of the room. Or,
I did a trick on my very first Atmos mix. I had no idea what I was doing, so I took the vocal, and it's about the song called "Panic Room" by Camel Fat, this EDM artist. And there's this part where she says, it's gonna come for you. So I had on a bed layer the vocal spin around to where when she says "come for you," it's over your right shoulder, and then the other "come for you" is over your left shoulder. So it's kind of give that scary kind of vibe. It was awesome. I loved it. My viewers were like, "Holy crap, this is cool." You know, obviously like that wouldn't fly for a lot of people, but you know, I'm excited to see like what creative. I heard his. Have you heard his stuff?
Obscene Steelers.
Obscene Steelers? Dude, that shit was awesome.
Yeah, me and Moss have a sync group together called Obscene Steelers, and we make music for film, TV, video games, stuff like that. And we're kind of like the music guys, and we collaborate with other creators.
Yeah. Then his albums, I was like, he's like, you know, I'm kind of, you know, doing all this catalog stuff. I'm like, okay, well, what would you make if you could just? And he's like, I got something. I'm like, okay, release it. You know?
Sick, man, sick.
Topic.
Well, listen, I wanna come and hang out with Ken. I couldn't make it this time around, but you know, I really want to have that time to really kick it with you, just because, you know, I want to like hang out with your creative brain, like switch to.
The feeling is very mutual. Whenever you can get your ass out to Ohio and
It's gonna be very soon. Very soon.
Looking forward to it, bro. I'm seriously looking forward to it. Mark, did you have something you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing that's been surprising for me is it just has to do with Apple Music, with it being turned on by default. Like if your song has an Atmos mix,
genius.
They just play it over the speakers. They're hearing Atmos. You know,
right?
It's the Atmos mix. It's not the stereo, and I don't think that artists are aware of that yet.
I don't think most people are aware of that.
Yeah, a lot of people in the consumer space, they have no idea.
Well, I need to say something about that. Apple continuously does genius, diabolical shit. Like they're literally next level. I think the default with Atmos was a marketing move. And because, you know, everyone needs to get used to this. No one really likes it because they don't know it. You know what I'm saying? Specifically from a binaural perspective, that's like hit or miss. So I think Apple's way of getting the market and getting people involved was, hey, let's just make it default and not even let them know.
Or unknowingly getting used to it, right?
And then when they hear it, they're like, when they hit stereo, they're like, wait a second, something's wrong. It's like evil genius.
Honestly, like if the Atmos mixes are like, if they slap, it's gonna sound good. You know, it's gonna sound really good on the phone.
Sound really good. Yeah.
I feel like a well done Atmos mix is like 20% better in headphones and 1,000% better in speakers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But a definite level up. It's like hearing the HD version of this song that you're just like in the room you're in the middle of now. You know, the headphones and stereo just don't really put you in the middle of it the way that the Atmos binaural does. And that's a pretty, and the spatial audio with the Apple head tracking and things like that. And just the way Apple seems to locate a little bit better.
Yeah, I got something to say about the head tracking. Whatever you do, don't put your phone in your back pocket, because all of a sudden, I was like underwater. I'm like, what the heck happened?
What happens when you put your phone in your back
pocket? I don't know. I put on this song, I hit play, and I was like, you know, I put my phone in my back pocket, and all of a sudden it felt like I don't know, dude. Everything just like went backwards or something, or upside down, and I was just like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, is that head tracking on?
Excuse me. The head tracking is from like the headphones. I like it because like when I'm in the gym and I'm like, you know, I'm doing push-ups, like it kind of changes depending on where you are. Like if you levitate, if you're down low, like I went to tie my shoe and it was like it's fucking cool as hell. Or I'm bench pressing. So it's an adaptive like experience. Like, and that's what's cool, because like our attention spans are like this now. So it's like people aren't really, you know, they're not, everyone's like, all right, done. So now everything needs to be like a circus or roller coaster ride. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be able to have your choice of the experiences. Head tracking, fixed, nothing. You know what I'm saying? We need options. So that's all like part of the experience.
My favorite head tracking is when I'm just out and about in the world and I'm walking through, you know, wherever, and I have head tracking on, and it's just the coolest experience. I just, you know, I feel like I'm in a space just out at a mall or walking in a park or wherever. It's that's my favorite time to use head tracking.
I even love when the vocals get stuck, like in one place. Like, get stuck on the right side. Like I actually like that shit.
Do you make it a game? You're like, okay, how do I get it back? How do I get it back? Do I need to
And
like
it's like
take Fox viewing positions? You know, like in Married with Children.
but it's just cool, man. It's just really it's different. It's a different experience. So
That's very cool. So we're getting close. We've been at this over an hour. This is amazing. Do we have any other things that we want to touch on before I get back to the meat and potatoes at the end of the show? Because we're almost to 2 hours, but we're going to run a little bit long tonight for sure.
We're gonna run long. All right, I love running long.
Yeah, I'd love to ask
Let's
one
go.
of you guys a question.
What's up?
Actually.
Okay.
All right. So there's all of you guys.
Aw.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nazi as well. Yeah. So there's a lot of talk about, should Atmos be front loaded? Should it be, even across the room? Is the head in the center of the room, or, basically just different approaches to it? And I'd love to hear everybody's answer to that question. How you approach whether or not you worry about, am I too front loaded? Am I in the center of the room? Is it different every song? How do you guys like to go about it?
You want to tackle that, Rock?
say that one more time. I was reading the text. Sorry. Like
I'll tackle it. So the way that I tend to approach spreading the energy around, and that's kind of the way I look at it, because I think if you front load too much, you can't get as much volume out of your overall fold down. So, we tend to use a bit of the Mike Miller method, which is put a lot of the stuff that would normally go in stereo LR into the sides. Not so much that you're overloading it, but, taking some weight off of the center and then moving things that feel interesting in the back there, and, finding your own space. But a lot of times what I find is when I think I want to put something somewhere, it doesn't translate in the headphones or the speakers the way I want it to. Mm-hmm. And it eventually migrates back to LR. Mm. So never be afraid to put something back into LR if it's just not sounding right where you're placing it. And I think generally music mixers, I'll be interested in your opinion, Rock, avoid the center channel and are pretty light on LFE. And I think that's a pretty common, I think you could probably remove my center channel from the room and I wouldn't miss it.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
So that's my take on approaching. Jonathan, how do you approach Atmos, like spreading your energy around?
I think a really cool thing is like definitely seeing what the song needs, because like if the song just like is like piano or like guitar vocal, there's not usually a bunch of low end elements, but you still have to have like something holding the weight down. I think definitely getting an even spread kind of for me is like a really good experience, because my initial goal is actually like to have the client one day they're gonna sit in a room, like they're gonna sit in the Atmos room and they're gonna press play and they're gonna be like, holy shit, this is my song, like this is my experience. And I want them to, if the room is like fucked up, like, oh, the speaker's like out of whack or out of, like, I want the mix to still translate. So like with carrying the same weight, carrying the same energy and impact. So that's kind of like what I've been trying to figure out in good translation, because, well, obviously the headphones, because everybody's gonna listen to that. But I think just like the end, like goal, how they're really gonna get that like feeling, and obviously like leaving it like -18 and like following those kinds of rules and like really pushing that kind of boundary of like getting that goal.
I actually hate the -18 rule. I mean, I understand. I get it, and I've tested it, and yeah, they're absolutely right. You cannot really go. I try to push -14. I do it, and it's like, but as far as like approach on mixing, right? For me, it's as long as you have that stereo image, man, like where you can go to that reference, you A/B the reference from your stereo image, and that's dead on. The world is yours. You have a blank canvas to just create, because it's not so much like the engineering is like most of the time it's done already, right? We're really just producing and arranging and enhancing, and then obviously you come with the mastering skills. But I think like stereo image is good, my transients and everything sounds accurate. We have everything punchy or however way we want it. And then, now we can be musical. I love to be musical in the middle of the room. Music in the middle. I love my drums, anything dominant right in the LCR. I do use the center channel very strategically. I mean, I like to kind of like create a curve, like kind of like a bowl, half a bowl kind of thing with the vocals, specifically when it comes into the chorus. So like my choruses, I would push a little bit more into like in a 916 setup, I'll push more into the wides. And then I'll just tap that center channel just to like give it a little bit more presence. Kind of like using it kind of like a compressor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yep. And then, I would anything that's like atmospheric, like strings, or like anything with emotion, I like to have behind me, right, and like kind of like up a little bit. And then I also like to put low end around the room. So my low end would spread from it'll be dominant in the LCR. Sometimes I'll put it directly in the middle, like in the sides and in the rear, because my focus is I like to make sure the room is full and well balanced. And that works a lot of times when you don't have a lot of assets, specifically in hip hop. You don't really have too many assets, right? You have drum, sample, synth, things like that, opposing to like a pop record or whatever the case is, where you got tremendous amount of things to play with to build that velocity in the room. And then reverbs are fun too. I love trying like cool shit with reverbs. I even create my own reverbs. There's a plugin called True Midside by RGF Studios. I don't know if you guys know about it, but what it does is if you put that on your vocal channel and just solo the side information, it sounds like reverb that you're pulling from that record. Obviously, you EQ it and mess around with it, because a lot of the times I don't get the reverb separated, which I wish I did, because you can do so much more. So I'll separate it myself, and I'll take that reverb, duplicate the channel, and I'll put the reverb like in the rear corners or in the rear wides, just to build that atmospheric feel. And it makes the vocals sound bigger too. So there's so many tricks, man, and so many things that you can do. And every record like is different. Like every mix is different, literally. Like the albums, usually when you get an album, like the album is like, all right, you get through like the first 3 tracks and like everything else is kind of like a piece of cake. But like every like Atmos project is like that. I've never had one that was the same yet. So
Them kind of slightly different in their own, so it's really the Wild West out here, which I think is what interests all of us.
Yeah,
it's like being on the cutting edge of something new that's probably gonna. I mean, music is gonna stay immersive from here on out. Whether it's Atmos, it probably is gonna stay Atmos. But other formats might come into the fray. But we're in the immersive age now, and I want to be a part of it. I think we all do.
Yep.
And so, come what may, we're in it.
I got one last thing. I was speaking with Techno Dad before the show, and I was kind of amazed by what you were telling me about the home theater market. I know with myself, with Puremix stuff, I'm talking to guys like Ken and Andrew and everybody, and we're this closed group of people who are making the content, but we think most of our conversations are we're the only ones listening to this on speakers. What does it matter?
No,
like,
that's not true at all.
Yeah,
that's not true.
I want
to
hear about that. Give me hope.
So going along with like what you guys would do with mixing, I know they're gonna listen on speakers. So headphones are not even an option. I don't care about headphones, right? Did we just lose Rock?
We might have.
There he back. What I care about is creating something cool, right? Hey, I don't care about that negative 18. That LU that I do not.
The next 10
because you're not releasing to streaming.
My viewers are crazy. They got like 4 18s up front, then they got 1 18 behind each chair. Like
these could be your viewers.
Dude, some of these home theaters, man, are just ridiculous, right? And they spend all this money, all this time, all this energy, and like they're like, man, even I would, right? I was telling you guys I was watching these Atmos movies. It's a 2-hour movie. Maybe there's 2 minutes of good Atmos. I'm like, man, I just wasted 2 hours watching this, right?
I noticed that on Apple TV. I was firing up Apple TV in here because I can stream to speakers. And a lot of it is just dialogue, and I'm like, okay.
Or in movies, it's the musical score. They'll put the musical score up there,
right, and not a whole lot. So when I'm mixing a track, you know, if you know, I find, you know, some of my favorite, because I'm a house and techno DJ, so I love that stuff, and like some of my favorite songs I found like stems for, and so I was just like, okay, what I like to do is take 1 or 2 layers and just be really creative with those 2 layers. Then I'll use the other stuff, maybe the vocal, maybe the bass, whatever, to kind of lock things in the front a little bit. And then just go crazy. Arpeggios going boop, boop, boop. And I shit you not, I will wake up and I had a dream about the renderer and all the little tennis balls in a certain pattern. And I'll be like, I could totally do that. And that would sound awesome. Yep. And my viewers would go crazy over it.
And you sleep like shit the rest of the night.
Oh, dude, I'm like, I wake up at 3, I'm like, I gotta try this now. You know,
Dolby Atmos Spatial.
Yeah, so like you were saying, and you, Rock, you said it too, like, I want to be inside the music. I want to be in the center of the music, right? And you said it like 2 channels, like you're an observer. Whereas like with Atmos, so I like visualize everything before. So if I listen to his track, I'll be like, oh, that layer, I could do this with. I could do that with this layer. And that's kind of like how I imagine it. And I know the challenges of a speaker system too. Because if you notice, because was it you or Nolan that said, do you always just hard pan things to speakers? Because when you're in between, like, okay, if we do front, left, and right, and you know we have 2 ears facing that way, we can do a phantom center easily, right? But if you were to if we're talking about wides, right? You guys like to put stuff in wides. If you have a 5 ear level speaker configuration and you put something in the wide, chances are that person is going to hear from the surround speaker, right? Because if you think about it, if I turn this way and I hear this and this to make this wide coming out right here, I'll hear that. But if I'm here, because I have 2 ears, going this way.
Right.
If I only have now 1 ear and it's trying to image something, it's going to just default to which speaker is closer to that ear.
Well,
so like there's all these things. So like, it's been interesting.
In the consumer market, like, is there any kind of stats on how many Atmos systems are sold every year?
Oh, dude, you know what? Here's
give us some hope for consumer adoption.
Save us, Techno Dad.
This guy, you guys, look. First of all, I don't know how I got here. Right? You guys,
I don't know how.
Your only hope.
You guys are like these like insane guys that do all this crazy stuff. I'm just a guy having a shit ton of fun with this new format. Because I want to make cool shit, right? And my viewers, they are dying for it. Some spend $20,000, some spend $200,000 on their home theater system. Yeah, no.
Give us some hope for
so like I'm out here. Cheaper hope.
Not for rich people.
Actually we shot some content. And if you want to get into an 11-channel speaker array, you can do it for about under $2,000. In the consumer market, the speakers aren't going to be fantastic. The receiver's going to have some limitations. But I mean entry level for a speaker array, 11-channel speaker array with 2 subs. It's not bad, And then in like home theater, we always talk about the journey. Like, okay, well, in a couple years, maybe I'll upgrade the receiver or upgrade, and then you get and then it's like a game, and like every 2-3 years, you're like, okay, now I'm at this level. Should I stay here? Should I go a little bit bigger? Can I, ditch the TV and go with the projector?
Is this something that the manufacturers are looking at and going, yeah, we bet on this and the bet was right?
100%. Like you can get a Dolby Atmos receiver for like $500. Okay. Right? 7 channels, so 2 high channels only. But the jump to 4 high channels, you're going to 900 to 1100 at that point. If you want one box to do 11 channels powered, you're talking $3,000.
What about 712?
712. So that's a 9-channel. So you're going to be in the 800 to 1100. So if you were looking at the Pioneer LX505, which I had for a while, that will process 11. So here's the other thing. It'll process 11 channels.
Nerdy, but,
it'll process 11 channels, but only power 9. Okay. So if you wanted those other 2 channels, a basic $70 or $80 Class D desktop amplifier, right? Little tiny thing. You just connect it up for the surround back or the rear heights. That's usually the 2 that need power. And then you can run 11 channels for, just with that. And then there's the,
So the consumer budget options are not exactly fantastic yet.
they're not budget.
Hopefully they'll get cheaper.
There's also, I mean, that's like audiophile-ish, right? And yeah, but they also, and I know you know this about this too, Techno, that like, there's also like just not the audiophile people, but people who just generally love good sound, right? And like those people are buying like Sonos systems, which are amazing. I mean, we quality control at UMG on a Sonos system. You know what I mean? Like, and that's like with the Sonos, the Arc, the soundbar, the era 300s, the new ones. They'll stand alone. I actually worked with Giles Martin on some like engineering for the era 300, and when he came to New York, he flew to New York, and he like flew. He had a bunch of engineers at Republic, and we were just playing our mixes on that one speaker, and he was like taking all of our notes, and like he had his whole dev team there. They had like fucking 7 computers, and like we were just making adjustments live. It was the sickest stuff. And I'm like, again, because I know Atmos, I'm like, I'm going into like R&D with like products, you know what I'm saying? Um, and that one box alone is pretty sick. Like it's up firing, forward firing inside. You know what I'm saying? And you're getting that emulation and that information. So, and bro, I'm pretty sure in the next year there's gonna be a tremendous amount of product coming out that's just high end.
I was at CES this year, and there were 2 demos for Dolby Atmos Flex Connect, right? Hisense did one, and TCL did one. So they used the TV speakers and 2 other speakers. Hisense had them behind, right? And they played the Amaze demo, or no, the Leaf demo, and I heard the Leaf go behind me, right? Cool. And then, and it does like a 30-second calibration, right? The TV and both speakers. The TCL one was even trippier because the TV was up front. They had one speaker up by the TV and one behind me to the left. They played the Leaf demo, and the Leaf went all the way around me from the back. I was just like, okay, because I know there's no speaker there at all, right? Nowhere near it. It's up there, and the other one's up here. So that was cool, but the TVs you have to buy for this, like 10 grand.
It's all coming.
So
it's all niche right now.
It's
And no, we wanted to hear, dude.
Look. The more Apple is pushing this, the more Dolby pushes this. It's going to trickle down at some point. I mean, think about. I know it's 2017 for you guys, but the home theater market, it's 2014, so it's already been around for 10 years, right?
Well, it's 2021 for us.
As far as streaming.
Yeah.
Is it 2021?
Yeah.
So this is just 3 years of just streaming music? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Shit is brand new, man.
Oh. So
This is literally the Wild West for us. You've been in it for 10 years.
Yeah. So hopefully.
Any mix tips?
Me? Man, you don't want my mix tips, dude. My mix tips are making sound as trippy as fuck and don't care about it. You know what, Rock? You know what I would love to take one of the tracks that you're mixing and just do one for you, bro. Just do one for you and see how awesome you can make it. Because I know you, man. We hung out for quite some time, and I think you make some hot shit, bro. Some hot shit. You know what I'm saying?
Shane Grush in the Puremix chat asked if we could all discuss the use of the center channel. I think we kind of covered it.
I mean,
people don't like to use it.
We basically avoid the center channel mostly as mixers. Rock says he sneaks a little bit of lead vocal into the center channel sometimes as an anchor, which makes sense if you've ever walked around an Atmos room and nothing is in the center channel. Your lead vocal shifts around the room and it doesn't stay in the center. And if your lead vocal is in the center channel, then it can stay more anchored towards your center focus of listening. Which really helps, but a lot of people's center channels just sound like shit. So that's kind of for the time being why I tend to avoid it, because most people just don't have them calibrated.
So if you guys sneak it in there, are you still relying on Phantom Center for the most of the image, and then getting a little piece in there for the
You just gotta watch out for that comb filter.
And I'll do that with instruments as well. If I have something that is feeling a little bit too wide or a little bit too something, but I like what it's doing out there, then I'll sneak a little bit of that same signal into the center channel And sometimes
Yeah.
I'll even darken that signal in the center channel a little bit so I get the weight of that in front of me
Yeah.
and the width of it beside me. And that really helps kind of solidify it in your ear so it's not phasey and kind of makes you want to turn your head.
Ken, what are you doing? What are you doing with like your guitars? Like you have a shit ton of guitar stems. Like how are you using those?
With the catalog one that I'm mixing right now has a ton of guitar layers, and I'm finding that a lot of my main energy goes to the sides, and most of the important like solo type information or anchor type information I usually still put in LR. Or somewhere close to LR or LR height, so it folds down to LR. And then I'll put, the secondary frilly stuff in the back or in the heights.
Frilly stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you do move the guitars around the room.
Yeah, I try and paint a picture with everything that I have, and I just try and make sure that wherever I put something, it doesn't take you away from the way the stereo made you feel, but just expands it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll tend to anchor the important things either inside or front LR, the frilly stuff in the back or the heights.
Gotcha.
And yeah.
Yeah, I get guitars are tricky. I get freaked out by them sometimes, like when there's a lot. So I'm like, I think I'm gonna keep them all in one place.
Yeah, the catalog album I'm mixing right now is the guitars on it are so wide, and it's super impressive. And what I'm noticing is the original mixer panned a bunch of the layers hard left and a bunch of the layers hard right.
Yes.
And none of the guitars in the center, and he left all of the rest of the music for the center, and it just creates this huge image in stereo. And yeah, the things that you, like you were saying earlier, the things that you learn as an Atmos mixer dissecting other people's stereos is a really great way to learn stereo mixing.
Yeah, it's like reverse engineering, man. It's the best. Like it's amazing. And again, like I'm not like a huge in the stereo mixing space, right? But like doing Atmos, it literally is like bringing me down like step by step from like every single perspective. And I'm like, you can't learn this shit any better way than like this.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
About the center channel thing, we use it because our audience is home theaters, right? So who was it? Was it you saying that no, somebody else. Anything on that TV screen, you watch John Wick?
Yeah.
It was you, right?
Yeah, we were chatting about that.
Everything's coming out of the center. The gunshots, anything that's happening on screen is coming out. And so, like, my recommendation, and like everybody else in the home theater space, you spend the most amount of money on your front stage. So when they have these arrays, their center channel is like you should have seen my center channel. God, if it was on its standing up, it's like this tall. 4 6.5 inch drivers, like a big ass horn, right, and huge and heavy. We found a way to use it in music where we have a nice spread across a little bit into the wides, left and right, center, and it sounds awesome. I played you yesterday. Yeah. I played it for you yesterday. Yeah. And so, if other people are not using the center channel for vocals, fuck it. We'll do it, and we'll make it sound awesome, and that's why, these EDM guys are going to come to me.
That's right. Yeah. It's all the Wild West. There aren't many rules in this game, right?
Because somebody said here, I would use the center, Big Jack 79. I would say use the center to anchor. Some people have amazing centers. I would say the center should be the best speaker since it's primarily for movies. Mm-hmm. So there's.
Well, you just give me an idea because now like producing albums and stuff like that, I'm thinking about Atmos, and I'm kind of like getting into like this like cinematic kind of like weird thing. So I'm like using a lot more like effects, like gunshots, not gunshots, but like car sounds and like special effects in the music. But I never thought to utilize the center channel for that, and that kind of would make sense of using the center channel in combination with the LFE to hyping all of that stuff up. So you kind of gave me a good idea on what I should try when I have like stems or anything that has any type of special effects.
Santa Monica, man, call me. I'll come over. We hang out.
and we make some fire, bro. You know that. It's already gonna be a party when you and I hang out, anyway. So.
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah, it's just like it's inevitable. I hope the world is ready.
They're not.
I think
So,
Yeah.
so do we have any other like heavy topics to cover? Because we're already way over broadcast time.
Except that you didn't do your sprint mix.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you want to
I
do
think
that?
Jonathan had something.
Well, we still have a couple show things to do, the beat challenge and a few other things. So I think we need to wrap up the roundtable now, and just get back to the end of the show for anybody else that's still out there and live.
We got
streaming.
100 people watching still.
Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Roc.am, thank you so much for joining us, dude.
Yes.
Such a
Oh,
pleasure.
thank you anytime, man.
Thank you
Such
for
a
the
pleasure.
You are
insights.
the man. I'm not worthy.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, I'd like to send you some stuff for mastering.
Dude.
I'll hit you up after.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, man. All right, guys. I'll see you. Thank you so much.
Tomorrow,
Later, bro.
man. Take care.
All right, later on.
Peace.
Later.
All right. Boom. Back to Ecuador.
Damn, that's a crazy transition. I've been in Studio B for a while.
Yeah. All right, so back to the rest of the show.
Goodbye,
Man, that was
studios.
intense.
Oh,
What,
are we shutting off this mic? Or are you guys still doing?
No, let's
Do you
leave it
wanna
on. I
leave
think
that
it's
one
gonna be. You guys can mute that whenever we go back to music stuff, which I'm not sure what we're gonna do right now.
Okay.
Well, I need to finish the show with the beat challenge, but what else do we need to do?
We have Marcus Manderson.
Let's run Marcus Manderson and prep for the beat challenge. So Marcus Manderson is going to bring you a segment on all things Atmos. And if you're still tuned in, if you missed earlier, check the description of the video you're watching right now. We have a ton of information in the description. We have this Atmos Icebreakers, which is like a one sheet. It's like 4 sheets, but it's like everything a young mixer needs to know about Atmos. And it'll get you so much further, so much faster. It's going to answer so many of your questions that you're just like, what sample rate, what bit rate, what this rate, what that. It's all in there. So go check the description. Thank you for tuning in for everybody tonight. It's been amazing. Now we're going to go to Marcus Manderson, Mixing Night Man of Mystery, and he's going to give you some Atmos tips. And then we'll be back for the beat challenge and wrap it up. See ya. Whew. Wow.
You want me to pull up the beach on?
Yes, please.
Oh. Hey, Studio World. Goodbye to anybody that's still tuned in.
Hold on. Go back.
Where are we going back to?
Do we need Ken?
Yo, Cat. Where are we going back to?
Was there no audio on that?
I think it has to be a stream thing.
None of our assets are streaming. Is that what's going on? Set me up for the sprint mix and I'll sprint.
Here, give me the thing.
No.
Give me the thing. Can you pull up? You can play videos on StreamYard. Can you pull up that?
So.
Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah.
It's been pretty amazing. We had a little bit of a rough start, but you know, just like Atmos being the wild, wild west, when you're trying to live stream in Atmos and binaural and spatial audio,
It's even wilder.
it's even wilder. Just the fact that we could even put this whole thing together is kind of a marvel to me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's been been a challenge, but it's been awesome tonight.
Here's the video.
What's good, everyone? This is Marcus Manderson, Mixing Night Man of Mystery, back with another Mixing Night Man of Mystery moment. In this Mixing Night Man of Mystery moment, we're going to talk all about how humans can experience Dolby Atmos. Let's get into it. Now, regular audio, including surround sound, has this ring of sound directionality. Compared to Dolby Atmos, where you get a dome of sound directionality and motion, it is the most immersive audio experience. Dolby Atmos uses metadata to control which speakers will reproduce certain sounds. Some tools needed to experience Dolby Atmos include the source needs to be mixed in Atmos, the device needs to be able to decode the audio in Dolby Atmos. Some decoding devices include the TV, a streaming device, or a stereo receiver, and your sound system must be Dolby Atmos compatible. The sound system may be the same as your decoding device. Some sources for Dolby Atmos include Blu-ray discs, streaming services such as Netflix, Disney+, Amazon Prime Video, and Apple TV+, Dolby Atmos music such as Apple Music, Tidal, and Amazon. You may have to be at a premium level for some of those platforms to experience the Atmos features. Some Dolby Atmos devices include Blu-ray players, some streaming devices if they are the higher end models, gaming consoles, some smart TV. Even though the built-in speakers are not the best, you want to look for the HDMI ARC or the eARC port, and some soundbars, speakers such as the Sonos ARC and the Sonos Era 300. Now, Dolby Atmos music has different requirements from the Dolby Atmos for film and TV. Keep that in mind. Here are some things to keep in mind if you want to get a Dolby Atmos AV receiver or Dolby Atmos soundbars. AV receivers can be a little bit more complicated to set up. They can be more expensive as opposed to soundbars, which are simpler to set up. They are cheaper and they can also be expandable in some cases. Now, there are some TVs that are Dolby Atmos compatible. You want to look for TVs that have the Dolby Atmos Flex Connect option, which will allow you to expand those Dolby Atmos TVs with wireless speakers. Here's some more numbers for you. If you have a 5.1 or 7.1 sound system, you can keep your current setup and upgrade to Dolby Atmos with a Dolby Atmos receiver and add some additional height effect speakers. Speaking of speakers, you have things like 916. That basically tells you the height, the number of channels in the system. So you can have a front left, front rear, center, wide left, wide right, surround left, surround right, rear left, rear right, a sub, 3 sets of height channels. You can have up to 64 speaker locations in a Dolby Atmos system. For headphones, the Apple TV 4K creates a virtualized Dolby Atmos experience to any Bluetooth headphones. Some specific Apple devices will also add the head tracking spatial audio. Now, keep in mind that spatial audio is different from Dolby Atmos also. And then some streaming services such as Apple Music, Tidal Hi-Fi, Amazon Music will allow you to stream Dolby Atmos music to your headphones if you have compatible headphones. Now, Samsung and Google have created a competitor to the Dolby Atmos experience. They are calling it the Immersive Audio Model Format, or the IAMF. This will be the first open source 3D spatial audio technology. It will create the ability to express sound vertically. It is an AI-based scene analysis and 3D audio effects, and it will also allow you to highly customize your audio. Now, if you want to dive in deeper on some of these sources of the material for this presentation, I will include links to these websites in the Discord group. I will also include this presentation in the Discord group, but you can go to the Digital Trends website to find out more about Dolby Atmos. You can also go to theproductionexpert.com to find out more about the Samsung and Google IAMF plans. And that is all I have for you. This has been another Marcus Manderson Mixing Night Man of Mystery moment. Be safe and be well, everyone. All right. Peace.
We're back, baby. So tonight, instead of starting the broadcast with the Sprint Mix as intended, I'm going to wrap it up, and then maybe we'll get to the beat challenge. So do I need to mute my mic, or can you mute it in the control room? Okay. So Sprint Mix, 10 minutes on the clock. This is an Atmos Sprint Mix. So if you've seen me sprint stereo, you know, all I got to do is pull it up in 2 speakers and I'm good. But in Atmos, I have 10 minutes to take 25 stems, which gives me about 25 seconds per stem, and make every decision that I'm going to make about how to balance it in stereo and how to spread it out in Atmos. So this one's going to be fun. This is Taj Farrant, The House Always Wins. I produced and co-wrote this with Taj. Taj is a 14-year-old blues guitarist and artist, vocalist from Australia. When my friends told me, like, hey, you really need to produce this guy, you need to check him out, I was like, 14 years old, no interest. Blues guitarist, no interest. Australia, no interest. And then I went and saw him live, and I was like very interested. So now I'm producing him. Kid is a savant. He's brilliant. And yeah, I think he's going to have a decades long career. So where's my sprint? Sprint. Boom. Okay. 10 minutes on the clock. Whatever happens, happens. Best rough mix I can possibly do in 10 minutes in Atmos.
In this house of blues, where the legends are made, should I sing? Should I play? Should I stay? The crowd is always made. In this house of Taj, I take your blues all the way. If you're black, if you're white, if you're weird, baby, we're born that way. 'Cause I got Cause I got 'Cause I got 5 cards. You got yours, I got mine. 5 cards. Give me a hand. Bluff your beds, flop turn river. Bluff your beds, flop turn river. Bluff your beds, flop turn river. Fluff your beds, flop turn river. Fluff your beds, flop turn river. Fluff your beds, flop turn river. Time to show your empty hand. The house always wins. Fluff your beds, flop turn river. Fluff your beds. Touch. In the house of 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 touch. 5 cards. 5 cards. 5 cards. In the house of touch. 5 cards. In the house of touch. In this house of cards, how did I land on 14? Should I stay? Should I hit? Should I split? The dealers are following me. Oh yeah. In this house on wheels, I can't legally drive. Idaho, Ohio, where in the world am I? In this house of cards, how did I land on 14? Should I stay? Should I hit? Should I split? The dealers are following me. Oh yeah. In this house on wheels, I can't legally drive. Idaho, Ohio, where in the world am I? 'Cause I got 5 cards. I split, the dealers are following me. Oh yeah. In this house on wheels, I can't legally drive. Idaho, Ohio, where in the world am I? 'Cause I got 5 cards. You got yours, I got mine. 5 cards. Give me a hand this time. Bluff your beds, flop turn a river. Time to show your empty hand. The house always wins. Damn, the house always wins. The blues, where the legends are made. Just always wins. In this house of blues,
Woo!
Oh yeah.
Well, that came out pretty darn well for 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
So, yeah, that's all, we've all been talking all night about just tapping into your instinct and your experience and listening to your gut. And that's all sprint mixing is, and it's the same in Atmos. I try and get it mostly balanced in stereo, but I've also got my sides as a second mix bus. So I know as I'm building, if I just want a little more space as I'm building my stereo, just move it to the sides, open up some more space, move things around, try things out. If I don't like them, I can always move them again.
Right.
And,
I say you put the cowbell in the back there.
Yeah.
Right. I played on it yesterday, and I was just like, man, this thing's loud.
Yeah.
Let's move it away. Right. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, that's a fun one to do. I think we need to end the broadcast by. I'm not going to play the beat. Should I play? We're already 10:35. Fuck, why not? Let's play the beat challenge. I mean, shit. Thank you all. If anybody out there is still hanging out with us, where the hell is the beat challenge?
Yeah, 83 is all hanging out.
Well, if I can find the beat challenge, I will certainly play it. But I do not see it. I think that's on me. Dominic cooked it all up, and we judged it, and
Saying he's still here.
I don't know where it is, and it's way over time. But I will tell you that Johnny Kyle is the winner of the ARC Studio. Thank you to every single person that submitted a beat for this. It was, you guys don't know. When I listen to the beat challenge, I sit here and I press play and I listen to the whole thing, everybody's beat in order, start to finish. And I am constantly blown away by the different directions. I feed you guys up one musical starter, and the directions that you guys take it in is so inspiring to us. When we hear this stuff, we talk about it behind the scenes all the time. We're like, did you hear Brian Pepin's thing? That sounded so crazy. And that against Sam Champagne, and, what Jason Lee did. And man, you guys just make such cool music. And we all love with the Beat Challenge the way everybody influences everybody else and collaborates across oceans. And it's been really one of the magic elements of Mixing Night is seeing the collaborations and interactions happening around the world with this kind of stuff. So sorry that we had a little bit rough around the edges broadcast tonight and that I can't do the Beat Challenge. Everything was down to the wire. But hopefully you guys loved the show tonight. We worked very hard on the cook-up, and thank you so much, Techno Dad, for flying out to Cincinnati from California, and Mark Abrams driving down from Columbus, and Roc.am tuning in from vacation. We super appreciate all of you guys. To every company that helped out, Puremix, Audio Movers, Sennheiser, and there's one other. Puremix, Audio Movers, Sennheiser, and IK Multimedia. And I feel like there's somebody else, but of course, Mixing Night Audio. And if you're still tuned in, we are selling, we have a sale on the Mixing Night Audio plugins right now. Go get yourself some LOL comp in your life. You will not regret it. I promise you. Just ask Mark Abrams over there.
That's right.
We showed off LOL comp on Mark Abrams' great big plugin show on Puremix. And I think we're going to do a Greenhouse show sometime in the near future.
Yeah.
And whenever Mixing Night Audio puts out our new plugin that we're cooking up right now, we'll do that one too.
Awesome.
So thank you both for joining me. Thank you everybody who helped put this broadcast together. There was just a mountain of work that went into this, and we super appreciate everything. Nolan, Jonathan, Kyle. I don't want to start rattling off everybody because there were so many people who really helped. Lori is huge. Dominic, I mean, everybody. It's such a,
Control room block.
Yeah. So for now, we're going to sign off. If you're still out there, thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully we leveled you up a little bit on Atmos Night. Check the description for pro users tips, and check the description for an Atmos Icebreakers, which is like everything that you need to know that you don't yet know. So tons of supplemental. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in May. Take care.